Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go.
Trading up 100.
Yes!
What?
Oh my
Here
God.
it is!
Or just recorded.
The tape never lies.
Other people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now they're all stuck like the Jew and now and laters. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sags trolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Jimmy. What's the name? We do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies. The truth, you see, we laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it. 1
Keeping it 100.
2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Tape never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is Corey the Barber. I almost got it. This is TTNL Keeping It 100, the best bear show on the planet, bar none. Football is back, baby. Training camp is in full swing, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of people coming on. We got some fans. We got the crew. So let's bring on the man, Shane, the smartest man. Marsaw, there he is. I saw you say.
So close.
So
close.
Almost. Mike, I did it for you. I tried to get it for you, bro, in the green room, but that's all right. Listen.
What do we got,
here.
Claude? What do we got? What do we got right now?
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network. Breaking news.
Was Shane right?
Yeah.
Or
Shane was right. Go back.
Was Phil right?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
I don't think so.
No.
Drop.
Play it again, Claude.
Nope.
Play it again.
Nope.
Yeah, no Phil tonight. Phil's out. He's out to dinner with Cole Kmet's family. They're counting dollar bills, y'all, together. Cole Kmet got paid today, Claude.
He did. Big news.
Yeah.
Big news. That was a huge contract. Was it? Were you surprised?
No,
No,
not at
right?
all. We've been talking about it for months. Kind of talked about. I didn't know exactly how the structure was going to go. I talked with Phil about it a little bit today. I'm glad they structured it the way that they did. I know everybody sees those big numbers and gets worried. It's all about guaranteed dollars. And hey, listen, get it out of the way quick. That's just good business. When you have money available and you have to spend money, spend it. You spend it on a 24-year-old ascending player like Cole Kmet. And let's hope at the end of this year we're fully prepared to open up the Brinks truck to pay a quarterback, because that's if the Bears have a good season, Justin Fields does what we expect him to do. That's what they're going to do. And structures of contracts absolutely matter. You pay a 24-year-old player that doesn't have a lot of downside. Is he Kelsey? Is he Kittle? No, that's not who the Bears expect him to be.
No,
That's
but he's
not
got
what
the potential to be a Mark Andrews. He's got a potential to be a
absolutely
upper echelon, tight end.
Yeah,
so.
and that's like I said, and that's what they're gonna do. You hear Ryan Poles talk about, you and I were talking pre-show with Mike in the green room. Just they put the Bear emblem next to players, and that's if you put a name in there, it sounds like he's describing Cole Kmet. Born and raised a Chicago Bears fan, a young player, sending player. He's not a guy that you're ever going to have to worry about off the field. Wants to be a Bear. He's from where the Bears are going to be putting their new footprint in Arlington Heights, and it adds up. And I know everybody sees that $50 million and gets concerned, but it's all about the structure. And I wish I could give credit to where this was, but here's the 2023 6.593 will be his number, and then it's flattening out at 11.6 moving forward. So in 2023, the Bears are going to lose 3.6 million in cap due to the extension, and it moves them to 28.4 million overall. So that's what they still have available, and that's why
in the NFL. It's
oh yeah, still the most in the NFL, and they're still fishing for defensive linemen. One, I wouldn't be shocked if it's two. I wouldn't be shocked at that at all. And
there's been some news coming out about Yannick.
Yeah,
you could say his last name because I can't say it.
Ngakwe.
Ngakwe,
yeah. I think it's funny. All these beat reporters, Chris Emma was saying that Yannick Ngakwe is interested. Well, yeah, no shit. I'm interested in signing with the team that's got the most cap space too. Yeah,
Good point.
Yeah, it's all these guys want to go someplace. Guys like Clowney are going to probably wait out training camp a little bit more would be my guess. But there's just because you sign these guys, and this is the classic overreaction is if the Bears went out and signed an Ngakwe, people coming in and thinking that it's settled. This dude does not play the run. It's damn near non-existent. They're going to pay him to come after the quarterback. He's going to be part of the rotation. Justin Houston,
which was our biggest issue.
100%. Yeah,
we lost multiple games because we could not get to the fucking quarterback.
You want him to get in there, and you want him to have an impact on a guy like Travis Gibson, like Dominique Robinson, these young guys that are still trying to kind of gain their footing within the league. But I wouldn't be shocked at all. I know Hall or Huff from the Jets is another one that the Bears have been kind of connected to, but that would be via trade. You heard Ryan Poles talk a little bit about that today with Waddle and Sylvie, not that specific player, but trying to come to terms with a player, come to terms with a team on a trade. But no, man, it's all of the hours that TTNL and every other entity out there that covers the Bears, here we are. We're exactly where we want to be. Camp is open, and Chase Claypool was on PUP early. People lost their shit, and 24 hours later, everything changed. That's why, you just have to sit back and see what it is. Are they ever going to tell you exactly what it was? They said he needed an extra day, so I don't know if he, maybe he did a workout and they just wanted to see how he was going to react to it. Who knows? And check it out. But it's it's no harm, no foul. I know CHGO did a complete show on the him going on the PUP list, and then it's meaningless a handful of hours later. So yeah, it is what it is. But we got the whole crew here to bring out the lady of the room, Cherie. She's on.
She is.
Hello.
And the foul ball catcher, Ivan Vargas. Welcome back.
What up, guys?
What up?
Now what?
So how'd that go? Give us a play-by-play of that ball.
Man, dude,
that ball.
it was right to me, but like there was this chick that was walking. It was like a group of girls that walked right in front, like they're going to their seats, and they really didn't see it until like the last second. So like I ran around the pole that I was on. I went down the little steps. If you're from Chicago, you've been to Wrigley, you understand what I'm talking about. So I ran down the little steps onto the concourse, and the ball's still in my face. And then she like I said, I think it might have ricocheted off her shoulder and her hand, but it like went to the left real quick. And as soon as I like turned, it was like right at my feet. So
Oh, nice.
So
Right
that's
place, right
pretty
time.
much
Technically,
what
you
it was,
didn't catch it. Is what you're
I
saying.
I never claimed to catch it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you didn't technically catch
There
it?
was
No.
there was no little kid near you.
You
to
kicked the
give it
shit
to
out
him?
of some
You had
little
to
kid.
keep it?
And
No, it blew up that woman's chest, and then like it went to the
So you still don't
Did you stand over her with
The
it?
reverberation.
hey, make the play, lady. Make the play.
I love it. I thought we
Great.
still had
Good
the
for
picture
you,
there,
man.
but
I'm happy you had a good time. That's
It was
good.
fun. It was fun. It was a blast. Yeah.
Did they
Yeah.
win?
Oh yeah, they won at a
Nice.
grand slam in like I think it was like the 8th or the 9th, but
Who they
Either
play?
way-
In case nobody knows what we're talking about. You're at the Cubs game versus
the
Who did they
Nationals.
play?
Yeah, they played the
Nationals.
Nationals that night. Yeah.
nice. Cool.
So, what do you guys? Fuck baseball right now. It's football. We've been waiting for this for how long? What do you
know?
What's your guys' thought? Do you guys want to throw rose petals at my feet about this Cole Kmet extension? I know Phil's not here to defend himself, but Shuri, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I was on the Phil bandwagon of as far as business wise.
Nope.
I get the decision, but personally, I'm not a Cole Kmet fan. I know you guys have talked about the effort, the progress he's made. He still did some frustrating things for me to not feel like he deserved a big payday, but I get the business side of it. So I'm not upset at the pay. I just personally don't think he has fully earned it, a big contract.
I'm actually kind of happy with the number. I'm not pissed off about it. It seems to be right in the area where that Cole Kmet was asking for, and where I think that he was being pretty much valued right throughout the league. It was about 48 mil, or I think Shane had mentioned something a couple weeks ago about it.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I'm not overblown by it. Like, it's not like Cole Kmet's gonna. I think Cole Kmet's gonna go ahead and have this Travis Kelce type of year. But he's a solid tight end. He's been with your system. He obviously has some type of rapport with Justin. You need to start adding or keeping guys that have the trust of your quarterback, who you think might be the guy.
Yeah, no, I just think it makes sense. Is he perfect? No. Does he have a ways to go? Absolutely. But that's part of what you're doing with these guys. And, as a second round draft pick, you don't have the 5th-year option, so you have to pay them early. The Philadelphia Eagles had to do it with, I know it's a completely different situation, but second round draft pick, it's a 4-year deal. And that's where they were. And you're not paying him really on past production. You're paying him a little bit of that, but where you also think that he can go. And I mean, if you look at the AAV, it's slotting him in as around like the ninth tight end in the league, financially. And I have no issue with that at all. And you see where all of these contracts are going now anyway. In a couple of years, if he stays on this ascension that he's been showing, and it's not like we can say that he doesn't have a rapport with Justin Fields, because he clearly does. And like I said, it's important that he's only 24. He just turned 24, I believe, on March 10th. So that's a guy that if he continues the rate that he's on, guess what? We're going to be here again when he's 27 talking about him signing another extension. And I just don't think you can let guys like that get away, because this isn't a break the bank type deal at all. I think you need Cole Kmet types on your team.
I mean, he was a leading receiver on our team last year.
Yeah.
So
That's not saying much.
That's not saying much.
Oh, no.
No, but also now, obviously, we have a lot more weapons, right? You got Tanyan also now that's going to pass catching. He's a pass catching.
I think Tanyan's going to be the best thing in the world for
Yes,
Cole Kmet.
I agree.
I honestly do, because he can do things that Cole isn't for. You get him in those intermediate routes, that's where he's going to thrive. That's where Justin Fields thrives. That's where DJ Moore thrives. And then you add that speed, you get Mooney back as long as he's cool with his ankle. Scott on the outside. Valus, hey, nobody's railroaded Valus more than I have since he's been drafted. And he showed me a little something towards the end of the year, like maybe something clicked. So it's going to be another important preseason for him. Hopefully he continues the ascension.
He had a good practice today.
Yeah. So it's just, these guys, the Bears are in the talent accumulation business. They're not in the business of moving off guys that still have upside. If you have $30 million in cap room and a 24-year-old guy that showed the amount of promise that I feel that Cole Kmet has, you keep him around and see where it goes. Totally. I have zero problem with it. I 100% expected it. Totally assumed he would be the first guy to get the extension from Ryan Poles, because it just made too much sense. And everybody knows my feelings on, I've never been a Notre Dame guy at all, and I'm all about Cole Kmet getting this extension and getting it locked up. And I think it's smart, because now he doesn't have to worry about any of that going in the season, because that connection with Justin Fields, and you saw it last year, because I believe weren't all of his touchdowns in the second half of the season last year?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, or most of them were 5 out of the 7 or something like that, somebody said. So,
yep.
We'll see. But so camp today, you hear, we talked to Herb Howard here a couple of weeks ago, and we had him on with us, Ivan. He was asking me what was the one thing that I wanted to see out of training camp, that I wanted to come away from training camp was. And I just wanted to see the ascension of Justin Fields and this offense, so we can say they've improved. We see it. There's nothing that I hate worse when there's 7-on-7s and you're like, you hear them say the ball was on the ground way too much. That shouldn't happen in 7-on-7s. It just should not happen. And if it does happen, that's a big fucking problem. But going off of what Herb was asking, and I'll go right around the room, start with you, Ivan. What's the number one thing that you want to see from the Bears in preseason that you want to come away with?
Well, it's right along the lines of what that you just said, Shane. It's cohesiveness with the offense, consistency with the offense, and I think it starts with the offensive line. I know we're all going to be paying attention once we get over there. We're going to be paying attention to everything, but me in particular, when they do go live and they have 11-on-11 and they're going, live on the line, I want to see the offensive line be consistently moving the defensive line. Yeah. I want the offensive line to be consistently on the run after everything. I mean, running downfield after the play. You know what I'm saying? So I need that offensive line to start showing me more, because you invested in it with Nate Davis. You're giving Tevin Jenkins another chance, and he seems to be bought and all in. You're moving Cody Whitehair, and it seems to me that you're starting to tell us that these are your guys, and this is what it's going to be. So I need to see the best out of them. Well, it is training camp, but I need to see that push from them, that will to take the next step. That's what I need to see.
Claudio didn't pay his electric bill. I see.
Yeah.
What happened to Claudio?
He'll be back. Cherie, what are you hoping to come away with?
Of course, kind of along the same lines, but mine is more so, we kind of seen the videos of Justin Fields working out with some of the receivers. I really want to see the relationship develop with the weapons that he has around him. So I definitely want to see that, you want to see that, oh man, they've been working together, they connecting, and because that's going to carry over into those games. So that's what I'm looking for, is the connection between him and the weapons that they put around him.
Yeah, and real quick, Claude, before you go, I see one of the hot topics within the chat tonight, and it's a great point, is Cody Whitehair. You want to see that. You talk about having a connection. You want to see that rapport with QB1. Cody's got that penchant where he'll start to do okay, and then on a 3rd and 3, he's going to have a bad snap. You know what I mean? Or whatever like that. We saw that a lot because he's got that funky snap. But supposedly word is that he has worked on that and has corrected that. But that's going to be a very important piece of this entire offense moving forward, because other than the quarterback, the center's touching the ball every single snap, and it's going to be a big part. If he can't lock down that position, they're going to go to Lucas Patrick, and then who knows what happens from there. But yeah, it's a great point with the chat bringing him up. But Claude, what are you hoping to see? What are you hoping to come away
I want to
with?
look. I mean, listen, we lost. Our biggest loss was David Montgomery, right? So I think I really want to see the running backs. I want to see Deontay Foreman. I want to see the new guy, the rookie Rashawn Johnson. I want to see what they bring. I want to see how hard they go, and I'm just excited. I mean, I think with our passing game, that I think is going to be definitely better than it was last year. I think if our running game can be solid, I think it's going to be a fun year. So I'm definitely excited to see what the running backs do.
All right, let me bring this up real quick, and we'll hear Coach Eberflus just talking about Cole Kmet and his deal a little bit. Let me add that up here and get it ready for you guys.
Agreed to terms just a short time ago. Certainly excited about that. Having that type of guy, that type of tight end, that type of man that represents everything we want to represent here at the Chicago Bears in terms of being smart, being tough, playing it with intensity. And certainly he's got a bright future ahead of him here with the Chicago Bears. Really a credit to Ryan, Matt Feinstein, and the staff, scouting staff, of getting that done. And to Cole, those guys really wanted to get it done. And so it worked out, and we're certainly excited about that.
We're on this incredible tour of it.
Gotta love YouTube and their commercials, but yeah. I mean, there's nothing earth-shattering there, but I think it's, people were talking about the continuity with young players, and obviously has the rapport with Justin. But I also think it's very important and critical in such an important preseason for these guys that you don't have things like this hanging over their head. Now, to me, I will be very surprised if Darnell Mooney gets a contract extension anytime soon. I'll be stunned if Chase Claypool gets a contract extension anytime soon. To me, they're gonna sit back, see how Mooney responds to his ankle surgery. They're gonna see how Chase Claypool responds to having an off season and learning his plays and the playbook, and kind of let them show them who deserves to be paid here. We'll see how that goes. Cole Kmet was just on a different, I don't want to say a different stratosphere, but he was on a totally different field of play than Mooney and Claypool are, because you got to look at it from a business aspect. If you go out and you pay Darnell Mooney right now, then what's the response from Chase Claypool? Because I doubt they're paying both. It's going to be one or the other. I don't see them.
To be honest with you, Chase Claypool has he has no say, no pull. No
he's no leg to stand on. He hasn't done
that. No. That's what
I get where you're coming from, Shane. But
that's what I'm saying. But if he goes, say if they paid Mooney right now, and then Chase Claypool went out and played the way that they expect him to play, and are they going to give him? Then what happens if you're sitting at number 3 in the draft and you're staring at Marvin Harrison, square in the face? So I don't see any movement coming there with a wide receiver anytime soon. But I just totally expected it from the Cole Kmet and his camp. I just think it's a totally different set of circumstances. I'm not pining for Claypool to get a deal at all. I totally understand with what you're saying. I just don't think we're going to see another contract extension for either one of these wide receivers anytime soon.
No, it would be for me, consistency would come before anything. So it would be Mooney. Yep. But even with Mooney, consistent on the field, but not consistent health-wise. And you have, you still have questions. Like I think he'll be a solid number 2, but there still are questions with Darnell Mooney. Hopefully the addition of oh my God, drawing a blank. Why is
Scott?
That? No,
Tyler Scott?
No, our new wide receiver. DJ Moore. Good, Jesus.
Whoever the hell that guy is.
That dude. Yeah,
That
DJ.
guy.
With the addition of DJ Moore, hopefully it'll free up, Darnell Mooney for some big plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because this is the first sizable one out of the way for Ryan Poles. And if you look back, can you guys name the Bears draft picks semi-recently that have gotten contract extensions? I have one that I think of immediately, but it's pretty barren. Eddie Goldman.
Kmet, obviously now.
Okay.
I don't know anybody besides him.
Yeah, Eddie Goldman and Cody Whitehair, I think, got them both. Right, that was right after they made the Khalil Mack trade, and I believe they both signed extensions.
Didn't get paid too?
Yeah, Eddie Jackson got one. He was the next offseason. But I mean, you go back, Pace's first draft was 2015, so that was the Kevin White draft. You go, it's not a very long list. They gave one to Tariq Cohen, and never should have, but it's a very, very short list. So we'll see how it goes, but this is what you want to do, man. You want to pay, and you want to develop and have the ability to pay your own. And then free agency, and I know everybody gets hyped about it, free agency should actually really be a boring time for you, in the grand scheme of things, because you have that homegrown talent that you've cultivated and you've locked up, and you're just supplementing things, within free agency, because we all know that's how the Bears have lived forever, guys. They haven't developed their talent, and they've went out,
that's basically how they
you go out and you draft, Michael Haynes, and you trade for Gaines Adams, give up a second-round draft pick for Gaines Adams, and then the poor guy at 26 years old has a heart defect and passes away in his sleep at 26 years old. And then what did that lead to? That led to the Bears backing up the Brinks truck for Julius Peppers in free agency, literally being at his doorstep at 12:01 a.m. Lovie Smith and Jerry Angelo, essentially, name your price. But that's what happens, and the Bears have lived this life. You see the miss on Adam Shaheen in the draft. So what do you go out? I can't even remember who was the tight end that they signed from Miami. They brought him in. It's like a 3-year deal. I'm blanking on his name. He was here, I believe, just for 1 year. But you're throwing down money to, in your drafted mistakes, and it's not sustainable. It's the best way to kill your team moving forward. But speaking of burp, you see this guy in there? There he is.
What up?
Cars, look at that.
Cars.
The myth.
The legend.
Definitely not legend. And way more, the myth is my legend. That's kind of how that works.
Is there? Yeah, Deion Sims. That's the name. Thank you. I don't know who the first one. Ryan Cox, I think it was.
Yeah.
But Cars, is there anybody? Have you looked under your desk that we should be concerned about? Nobody's going to be popping out or anything?
Nope. Good. She's small. I tend to lose her, so that does help.
Oh man. So Cars, I took my victory lap a little bit without Phil here about Cole Kmet, but we'll just back up a little bit because I want to get your thoughts on it. I know you and I were definitely on the same page. We really expected it to come. It wasn't that we were surprised by the extension. We weren't surprised by the numbers in the least, but what's your thoughts on the Cole Kmet deal?
Yeah, I thought we were going to expect around, I think we were always saying somewhere around the neighborhood of 4 and 48. So I felt like the deal was really solid. And I think one of the things sometimes it gets lost is no tight end has played more snaps in the last 2 years than this guy.
Yeah, number one.
And look, is his blocking perfect? No. Is his catching perfect? No. But he's one of the few guys that you can have on the field for both run and pass and that isn't a one-dimensional tight end. And so there's value in that. We always keep saying, I know you agree with me, right? Mark Andrews is the best comp. And last year, completing his third year, Cole Kmet was as young or as old as Mark Andrews was his rookie year.
Yeah.
So you've really got this ascending player. And
Kittle was the same way, I believe. Kittle was
24 when he started.
And that's what Cole Kmet got his extension at 24.
And look, Kelsey and Kittle are two. They're massive outliers in the way that the tight end position works. Pitts is very much the same. Whereas at least with Kelsey and Kittle, they'll block. Pitts gives you kind of nothing there. So that is a massive thing for him. I think he gets bigger benefits from Tanyan and DJ Moore, there. And now we're going to see 12 personnel and all these things that we just were never able to do because we didn't have a good complement to the guy. So it is, I know there's some belief that he's terrible or he's overrated, and it's not rooted in any realism, right? It's kind of a lot of pure hate. Are there things to not like? Yes.
100%. Yeah.
He's a plus player through and through, and he just isn't the plus that the big guys truly are.
Exactly, Carr. So it's like everybody is trying to, judge him on the Kelsey Kittle scale, Andrew scale. And it's like he's not that. And to Shane's point, he's still as young as those guys were, when they first made their, start in the league. So I think the instant gratification, like people see he's been in the league for a while. Why hasn't he, developed and become this superstar? Well, sometimes it takes a minute. So maybe, hopefully he becomes a better player all around. I don't think he's going to take an extremely, crazy jump, but I think he could be a very, very solid tight end for us for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't ever think he's going to touch superstar.
I don't think he's going to be a 1,000-yard guy.
Neither.
And I don't think there's a problem with that.
But you get 800 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's what was he last year?
He was 50 and something else. But if you looked at the numbers, it was 52 catches or something like that, and 16 of them came in the first half of the season. 36 came in the back half. He had one 50. Touchdown in the first half. He had 6 in the second. So if if you look at those numbers and kind of double but pull a couple things back, you're talking about probably like a 60 catch, 700 yard, 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns as a guy. And those are as the offense was last year. We struggled to sustain drives. We had so many 3 and outs. And so this is going to be a big thing for him, is that now he's going to be in a more consistent offense. This guy isn't the limit, but like where he is still not the player that he's going to be, as you were saying, Ivan, right? Like he is an ascending young kid still. And I think there's big value in that.
Cars, do you want to address Jake here? Because he's, with all due respect, I don't ever envision him becoming Mark Andrews. Well, that's kind of where he's striding to be.
If you take out, and if you look at 2 years ago when Andrews had that massive year where it was 1,300 yards receiving, I think it was like near 10 touchdowns. He was the only guy on that 21 team that you could throw to. I think that was the year that Hayden Hurst had moved on. They didn't have any wide receivers. They never really have tried to get anybody for Lamar until this past year. And so there was nowhere else for the ball to go. Like Mark had 150-ish targets, I think, that year as well. And that their top receiver was Marquise Brown. So while number-wise, yes, I don't think, expecting 1,000-yard seasons like that, but expecting a guy who'll be 13, 14 yards a catch, who will be kind of a third down machine, who will get you red zone numbers. If you look at Andrews is physical, He's a plus blocker. He's an awkward runner. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the most agile individual, but he's just consistent through and through. And if you take out 21, this is a guy who's been like 800, 750, 800 yards receiving. And that's what you really want out of Cole. So that's why that comp is there. Don't fall in love with 21 Mark Andrews, because that's never going to happen again. But he did, again, he did that all by his 20, he finally had his breakout season like that in his 4th year at 26 years old.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet's 4th year, 24 years old. I think it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, and like I said, we talked about this right before you got here, Cars, and I think it's important. You can even look at Tremaine Edmonds with him being so young. Cole Kmet's going to be in line to get another contract extension at 27 years old. Much like Tremaine Edmonds, who just turned 25. He signed a 4-year deal here? He's going to be another guy. And this is exactly how none of these deals are franchise altering. None of them are. People see that $50 million and think, "Oh my God, he got overpaid." It's all guaranteed money. It's all structure, and you want him to eat a little bit more of the cap space up initially. Get the bad stuff out of the way, because everybody on this panel, everybody in the chat room, we hope Justin Fields' play warrants this massive contract extension. And this is what these guys, Cliff Stein, all of these guys, all these financial guys that are looking forward, that know everybody's contracts around the league and within Halas Hall, this is what they're planning for. Cole Kmet's deal was thinking about, what if we have to pay Justin? And one thing I know PFF Brad brought out today, and I know a lot of people have been asking, the Bears are about I think it's around $15 million to meet that financial floor of what they have to spend. And that doesn't mean that they have to spend it right now. They have to spend that by the beginning of the new league year 2024. So you're talking about
the
March.
End of preseason-ish. You'll expect to see something by the end of preseason if it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, and I mean, who knows what they do if there's been chatter about Justin Houston, Yannick Ngakoue. Those guys are going to come in here, and neither one of them are going to break the bank, but that's going to contribute to the financial floor. And however, if somebody else did get an extension, all of that is going to contribute to it. So it's going to be interesting. I just don't see a lot of negative to Cole getting this deal. I don't see anything to even worry about.
It's not going to stop you from doing anything.
Yeah, and totally agree.
If you folks want to do something that's fun, go on the Chicago Bears website, look at the roster, and sort by age, and look at where these guys are coming. 25.
I just looked it up. We have the second youngest team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you get rid of Patrick Scales, who's 35 years old. Here's our oldest guys. Patrick Scales, 35. Cody Whitehair, 31. Cairo Santos, 31. The offensive lineman that they just signed, Aviante Collins, 30 years old. Robert Tunyon. I didn't even realize Tunyon was 29 years old already. But Nathan Peterman, there's nothing. None of these. Yeah.
It's Eddie. Yep. And, if you look at guys that you really expect to kind of be here, and part of it is it's only a 3-year deal, but DeMarcus Walker is in that same conversation.
28 years old. Yeah.
28, 29, and everybody else is sub 25 years old. And it gets really fascinating when you look at it that way, Shane. The one thing, we sort of hit on it when Herb Howard was on last week. But now you are on Jaylon and Mooney watch. And I say Jaylon more than Mooney, because I think if Mooney doesn't get an extension, he's still got a really good shot of being here.
I agree, and I was total. You guys have heard me talk. I didn't feel like Jaylon was going to get that deal, but to me, Cars, like I said, they're not paying Mooney right now. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
But I completely agree. But Jaylon is the wild card because, his situation is extremely similar to Rowe, right?
But where's the big but in there? He's on the fucking field. It's not a hold in, and that's a big part. And he's got an agent.
It's a big deal. I don't want to take away from that, but I do think there is something with this front office and him not being at some of the voluntary portions as well. The other portion that will be held against him is his lack of turnovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his lack of game-changing plays. And so if I was Jaylon, I'd be trying to fight for all of that sort of money as well. But if he doesn't have that start where he's, going after it, he's, you've seen year over year, he hasn't played as many games. He's not getting as many passes defended. I think the last 2 years, Tremaine Edmonds has more tip passes than Jaylon, which is never a good thing. He's got 1 interception for his career. Coverage is great. I think I like his overall coverage at the same level that I like the kid the kid in Dallas who just got his extension, except that guy got paid because he's got 17 interceptions over 3 years.
Yeah, he gets roasted, but he makes big plays and he takes the ball away. Yeah, he got 95 mil, I believe, was his deal that they got in there, and you see. This is what gets me excited about this front office, as we've talked about this ad nauseum with this team forever, is if the Bears decide that financially they're in a different stratosphere with Jaylon, then he walks, or they trade, or who knows, they trade him.
I think that's a very big chance.
Yep. But what have they done? You bring up, Cars talked about bringing up the roster. They claimed Josh Blackwell, who is been fantastic. And I know, special teams dynamo, a guy that was getting, Pro Bowl consideration. They go out, Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Elijah Hicks, Eddie Jackson still here. I know a guy that's very underrated on this team, Cars. I know you and I talked about Jaylon Jones. Not Jaylon Johnson, Jaylon Jones. They drafted Terrell Smith, Tyreek Stevenson. They didn't just draft him; they traded up to acquire him in the draft.
Could be the real deal.
But this is what forward-thinking franchises do. This is a part of it that a lot of people don't think about until they'll look ahead at the free agent class and see, who can we get in free agency that's going to come in and help us? But these teams, Ryan Poles is all right. Jalen's going to be due for a deal. We know where all of his warts are. They already know what his financial expectations probably are. They know.
Oh yeah.
But they're going into the draft knowing all of this. Like I said, they've went very heavy in the draft at DB. Think about it. They have 3 second-round draft picks at defensive back over 2 drafts.
Oh yeah,
with Ryan Poles, with Jaquan,
and offensive line. The 2 places that we have ignored the most has been where they've invested the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And and Bob says you need more than 2 corners. Yeah, totally understand that. But that doesn't mean they're not going to throw bad money at Jaylon Johnson. Herb Howard was on here with us, and this is my mindset with Jaylon. I have a feeling that Jaylon thinks that he's a top 2 or 3 cornerback in the league, and I want him to think that. I want him to play that way every week with that mindset. But when it comes down to the negotiating table, we're going to have a little bit different talk, because guess what? You ain't a top 3 corner in the NFL.
And that's the concern, is him looking at Diggs's deal and saying, that's what I want.
Way.
And that's just it's not going to be real. Like I absolutely want him to have the swagger. And he sort of has had that swagger since he goes. It's a great trait as a corner to happen. But what do we know about this front office and the coaching staff? They value turnovers and playmakers at that position. So far, he's not beat. Like we talk a lot about, like he played physical and aggressive against AJ Brown, and we talk a lot about that game. AJ still had a massive day that
180 yards.
188 yards.
Yeah.
So on 19 catches, I believe.
Was that how many it was? Was it
No.
19?
No. I think it was. Hold on, it was pretty high. I gotta look it up again.
But yeah, it was up there. 19 seemed very high.
He's had those games, right?
Yeah.
And so again, it's hope for your value, but
9. Sorry, not 19.
Yep.
9.
So what happened with Roquan last year is getting to the point and trying to maximize his value. If they can't get him signed, is a very real possibility. And I think, I'm not rooting for it, but he's shown just enough of like not consistent enough, like desire to be here. Don't forget, he was second team when the staff first came on board. He did earn himself back into that starting role, but it's, he's got to show turnover capability. That's it. And if he doesn't show that, if he's not back to getting his hands, deflecting passes, his career here is done, and he's going to go find someone else to give him that money.
No, I totally see it. Now I see, like I said, I don't want to really go down this road too much, but I saw somebody in the chat said the Commanders need corners, trade him there in a deal for Chase Young. Is that the craziest scenario in the world? I don't think so. I think the Bears that they would entertain it.
I said in Twitter the other day that I think the Bears would offer a second and a fourth right now for Chase, and that second has a potential to be a first round pick. And I think the Bears would make it their own because they're higher on themselves as opposed to Carolina, and set some sort of thing, whether it's snap counts, whether it's sacks, whether it's something like that as part of those escalators.
I couldn't include that part of it with me. I couldn't push it there, but could I see them in the second round category? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, and I mean it's a great point. And how Chase, it's just that we talk about it all the time with players, man. It's the injury history, and you have to absolutely be sold on those medicals because it's a big part. You can get all your background on the kid. I know he's very, very close with Justin. And it's a lot of people get intoxicated by the name because he's a big name. He was a very, very high draft pick. But again, we talked about this last week. It was on one of our shorts that Caden Whitlow has been producing for us and putting out there that, the Bears want to see. They want to see where Dominique Robinson is. They want to see where Trevis Gibson is. They want to see if Terrell Lewis can stay healthy and show something. They want to see what, where Walker is at and, what his exact role is going to be on this team. They want to see that before they make these moves. But, Cars, Ryan Poles talked about it today. I believe he's on with Waddle and Sylvie.
Yep.
And they are active everywhere. It's not just with, unrestricted free agents. It's in the trade market. And I know Huff from the Jets is another name that isn't going to require anywhere near the compensation that they would have to give for Chase Young. But again, it's a guy with upside that's, fairly young, but it's going to be interesting, man, to see how this all plays out.
I think it's, and so someone passed up. Yes, the Redskins did decline his fifth year because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so, the other thing they have to look at is right now they have $43 million tied up in Payne and Allen next year. So, and that's with Sweat becoming a free agent. So as a team, they have one of the worst offensive lines in football. They are one of the, they seem to believe in Sam Howell. That will be fascinating to watch too. But the way I look at it, and the reason that they would look at Chase as ahead of Sweat is I think that his perceived value is much like a Jadeveon Clowney. Like I said in the chat earlier, Clowney is a name, not performance as of now.
Totally agree.
Chase has sort of been that, but it's mostly due to injuries. He's still, when he's on the field, he's still the commanding double teams. He's still that player, which Clowney isn't. So there's still potential for him. And that's what the Bears would be betting on, because that's another kid. He just turned 24 years old.
Yeah, in April.
Turned 24.
Yeah,
and
so he fits the going back to what you're talking about. Yeah, the age profile on this team. But again, he's going to be. It's got a lot of similarities to the Chase Claypool trade. There's a lot of risk in there, and you make a trade. Well, if you make a trade for Chase Young under the deal that Carr's put out there, you're fucking extending him.
Oh, and the reason I say that showed up in the conversation with Waddle and Sylvie is that Poles said, now you got to worry about you have to talk to the player and the team. You have to work that out. There would have to be this discussion. Chase would have to be a massively, massively incentivized deal. And so you don't know whether he's going to bet on himself right now or not. But absolutely, they pull that trade and he's getting 4 for 80, 4 for 90 type of extension almost immediately.
Yep. So bare minimum has it figured out here. Just go get Aiden Hutchinson instead.
Yes, because they would love to get rid of that guy in the division in year 2.
Just do it.
Damn it! Why did we think
get Aaron Donald? Why not?
We're so dumb.
Just get Aaron Donald. Might as well.
Go get him.
Let's get Aaron Donald.
What I heard, and the Bears are trying to go get Chris Jones, Max Crosby, and one of the Nick Bosa is holding out. We might as well go get him.
Yeah, we're gonna trade one of our surplus running backs for those guys. Yeah,
we're gonna give him Khalil Herbert. So it'll
can't give him the starter.
Oh, he's but everybody says that it's going to be Roshan Johnson because after meet the rookies, he's now everyone's favorite player.
I want to see Roshan in pads before I make it, because I seen Valus without pads, and everybody knows this. It don't mean shit, but I've seen the college tape. Shane, you've seen it too. Cars. I want to see him in pads and at the NFL level before I make my final decision.
We're gonna see him Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'll root for him.
I happen to think that that's exactly where he's going to shine. I think that's what he wants. I think that's what Roshan wants also. I just think that's like his pass blocking. He's like I said, he's top 2 in the draft, if not number 1 in terms of running backs.
Oh,
and it's going to be. And I know Khalil Herbert has been playing bingo and traveling the world and working on his pass blocking, but it's going to be interesting because that's a big part. I mean, listen, they love Khalil Herbert and love what he's about and feel that he's explosive, and he's one of those guys that they want to get. They want those efficient running backs so they can hand the ball off to him, 5-6 times, and they come away with 55 yards. They don't have to give them 27 carries to get you 111 and a couple of touchdowns. It's all going to be about those efficient runs. And that's really, I think, what the Bears have moved to. Deontay Foreman he's not that, but like I said, there's Deontay Foreman, man, I still think he's going to be the dude that gets most of them.
I completely agree. And I think when you look at that, that's going to look a lot more like Seattle or last year's Green Bay team, right? In which they're alternating those guys in. Each of them does something a little different. Roshan's by far, at least shows up as the best overall in blocking and everything. Herbert's more your breakaway, one cut and go.
Yep.
And Foreman is really your physical pound the ball. So if you look at old That's your Chris Carsons, your Rashad Pennies, like that group of people. Wherever the matchup is where it is, that's who's going to go. And, I don't, I'm sorry, I'm totally hijacking, but I was, if you looked at Brandon Thorne's kind of offensive line breakdown, where the Bears are one of the youngest, one of the most athletic, and one of the heaviest offensive lines in football this year, like they're going to be a power run team. It's going to be their identity. And so it would not shock me to see, like, I don't think Justin's going to have another 1,000-yard rushing year, but I think you can see 3 running backs north of 500, 600, 700 yards a piece making that happen.
And that's the San Francisco 49ers. Like that's
Seattle.
That's Seattle. Yeah.
It's right. Green Bay. A lot of teams that make deep playoff runs right now.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, you look at Pacheco in Kansas City, where he's a seventh round draft pick. And I know I bring up Philadelphia an awful lot, but Philadelphia, their running back trio, they have 4 of them or 5 of them on the roster. If you add up all of their salaries, they're making $7.2 million. And Miles Sanders signed in Carolina is making $7.2 million this year. And Philly's got like 4 or 5 backs combined making that. And that's the way that this is going. That's why when you see these guys, that's why, listen, I'm a massive Jahmyr Gibbs fan. And I know people didn't agree with me. If he was there in the second round, well, like we talked about, I would have sprinted to the fucking podium for him. Detroit took him at 12. After, 6 weeks previous, they paid another running back. Will it pay off for them? Yeah, I mean, they have 2 great backs, but we'll see how it goes. But it's not the norm in the NFL and the way that it's going.
How do you guys feel about the running game becoming once again more of prominent in the NFL? Like there was whispers about it like last year. They were talking about how people are running the ball a lot more. Is that going to continue? Like it seems to me that we're building our line, we're building our running back room for that, and other teams around the league like Detroit and some others are doing the same thing. Like how far do you think this is going to go?
I think you're seeing it as it is. The running game you're going to see more by committee, because what you're really seeing is the teams that do it well are getting chunk yards, right? Like the teams that are rotating in. Green Bay had it kills me to say, but they had a killer 1-2 punch last year. I think both of those guys were north of 4.5 yards. So what you're going to see is the teams that do it are going to rotate through. You're not going to really, outside of Derrick Henry, gone are the days of the 300 carry running back, right? Like you'll have 2 or 3 150 to 200 in that kind of range. And that's the way that it's going to go, because as offensive lines are getting heavier, defensive lines are getting lighter, linebackers are getting a little bit lighter. So right now the trend is bully, right? Flat out bully these guys. And that's why a Billings and a Dexter are so important. Once you get past teams like Philly, like San Francisco, even like, Dexter Lawrence and the New York Giants, you've got a lot of just agile, penetrating defensive tackles. And so until that kind of pivots again, you're going to see running back by committee, a lot more runs. It's just, but there's just never going to be that guy anymore. The Ezekiel Elliott's, that guy's done. Those type of players are just not going to be how it is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley. I mean, he arguably is the top, one of the top talented all-around running backs, and he had to scrape his way to get $11 million a year.
But that's the thing, you hate to say it, and like I said, I'm not trying to take money away from these guys, but it's kind of what Cars and I talked about with David Montgomery. Not saying that he's not a fantastic role model, a fantastic person off the field, and a fantastic leader, and an extremely good running back. Where is your leverage? Where's Saquon Barkley's leverage? You know, any of these guys, I know they had their Zoom call and they're all the guy that I'm thinking of, the running back out in LA that wants to get paid.
Josh Jacobs.
No, the Chargers guy.
Eckler.
Eckler, yeah. You know, all these guys got together, but where is their leverage? It's not there, because you can literally go out and teams feel confident that they can go out and find a Khalil Herbert in the 5th round, in the 6th round, and an Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round that can come in at a bare bones price. Yeah. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to run the shit out of you for 3 years, 4 years, and then they're going to move on from you. And it sounds awful when you're talking about that person. And I know that the running game is important, but when they're looking at it, we feel like exactly what Philly's doing. We're paying 4 or 5 backs, $7.2 million. Carolina's paying Miles Sanders $7.2 million.
Exactly. And who was in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The Eagles and the Chiefs.
Exactly.
And they had running back by committee. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the Eagles had Miles Sanders and didn't pay him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, look at what McKinnon did, for that like run. What was it, about 4 or 5 or 6 weeks or something like that, where he was just on a tear. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
The best way to get through it is like if you're Najee Harris, you're freaking out right now, right? Like, because the recipe has been written. Dalvin Cook had a phenomenal year still last year. He has had an incredible career overall. They cut him because he's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
He is the last 4 years has been 250, 312, 250, 260 carries in a season. He's 27 years old. He averaged 4.5 a carry. He can't buy a look from some of these teams anymore. And he's a true 3-down back, right? And so you look at these guys like, Josh Jacobs, 340 carries last year. They didn't want to pay him. Saquon Barkley.
He had a career year last year.
It was insane. Saquon did too, 295 carries.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen with these guys? They're going to give up a lot. They're going to run a lot. They're going to sit through on these bad teams. And then they're going to break down. And they're going to get replaced with a guy that's been drafted in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. It's just how it is. If you look at you remember when we were kids, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
The leading rushers was like 15, 20 plus dudes over 300 carries.
Oh,
there were
all
3
day long, right?
There were 3 last year.
Look back at the 2005 draft that unfortunately the Bears were front and center for. Remember Cadillac Williams and Cedric Benson, Ronnie Brown that went to Miami. You know what I mean? It's just, you're not going to see that again. This year was crazy. Nobody, we kind of expected one of them. We didn't expect Jahmyr Gibbs to go top 12, but I think we've probably exhausted the running back talk. Yeah. So we're obviously in the, starting off training camp. We wanted to switch up some things tonight. We talked about giving away some training camp tickets and to some of our TTNL patrons. And I see 3 of the 4 of them. I'm waiting for my guy, Jose Torres, in there. He's got the link, but he hasn't showed up yet. But we're gonna bring out some people here. Got Mr. Active himself, Joe Kraft. What's up, man? Gonna add all of you guys.
How we all doing? Good evening.
The milkshake man.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Brad W. Poor milkshake was in here before anybody, and he was all nervous. He was crying. Claudia had to talk him off the ledge. He's like, I can't.
Tears just streaming.
Claudio's such a good therapist. He's really underrated.
Barbers are
dude, seriously.
Listen, barbers are.
I told Claudio I felt bad for giving him shit for the yo thing at the beginning of the show.
And I fucked it up again.
I got so nervous.
Don't feel bad. We all do.
No,
hey, you were close, man. You were close.
No, he wasn't. Do not feel that lie.
You would be amazed at how much worse he gets it the second the show ends and we mock him for 5 minutes nonstop. So it doesn't get better.
Yeah, and Brad down there, he hasn't talked yet, but he's been texting me all day wanting to know what time Cherie takes her top off. And I'm like, God damn, Brad, that's
Oh,
crazy.
wow,
But,
man.
yeah. So
You're crazy, man.
What up, boys? What up, boys?
so you guys got the, I don't know, Ivan, where did Ivan drop
Ivan
off?
bounced.
He did. So Ivan's got all your, I don't know, has he sent over the tickets to you yet?
I'm doing that right now.
Oh, okay.
Not
So,
yet, yeah.
wow, it's literally going to happen real time. So,
Thank you.
Nice. So, but yeah, you guys will be getting your tickets. And what are you most excited about? We'll start with Milkshake Mike. What are you most excited about heading to camp?
The fact that I've never been there. So,
Yeah.
you know, this will be a first time for me. And so I'm really excited to see how these guys train in person, especially up close.
Absolutely. Joe, what about you, man? Have you ever been?
I have, yes, back in when they were Olivet Nazarene. Actually, the first year and every year until I did not make it the last year.
Okay.
But I go just to watch the practice for drill work more than anything, for personal and for coaching, just to see efficiency.
Are you going to talk any shit to Larry Mary if you see him?
I'd love to. Give me something. I mean,
we have the perfect thing right here that you could say to him.
Oh my fucking God! Your lunch with Larry.
Done. You've got it.
That's one of the best drops I think we've ever had, courtesy of Dan Weeder.
Brad, what about everything Angelo, basically?
Well, I've gone like every year, I guess. Last year I went once, and the year before that I went once. Like I've seen the Matt Nagy to Eberflus era like change up,
Nice.
and it's night and day difference. It's crazy. Oh.
Yeah, just in terms of, you mean like the efficiency of practice, or just the overall vibe?
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's crazy.
What are you most excited about seeing when you get there?
Probably like Fields and Moore. I want to see that connection, like live and up person or in person, you know. So that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking. This was a little bit before Cars was here, but Herb Howard had asked me a couple of weeks ago what I most wanted to come away. You know, what I most wanted to see in preseason. You know, team wise, what I wanted to come away with, and my. You know, it's pretty much low hanging fruit, but I just want to see the strides on offense. I don't want to see the ball on the ground. You know, we hear everybody talk about it. The ball shouldn't be hitting the ground in 7-on-7s. That's what I want to see. We're getting our other patron here. Yeah, I don't think he's turned on his camera yet. Jose, if you can hear me, there he is. Gonna add him. Hopefully he's ready to go. Jose, what's up, my man?
There it is.
There he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm having a problem here.
I can tell your audio sucks.
Yeah.
Shane is always the kindler, gentler one that really breaks things in kindly.
I actually, there you go.
There he is.
How's that go?
Sounds a little bit better. I'd give you. You got a phone call. I'm telling you, that's what happened there. But yeah. So, but we'll move on. But what I was saying with Herb, you don't want to see the ball on the ground in 7-on-7s. You want to see progress. I want to see, you know, Brad, what you were talking about. You want to see the clear connection to DJ Moore. Like I've been saying this for years. People call me crazy. If I am the Chicago Bears, game number 1, first fucking snap in preseason, I am going fucking deep to DJ Moore. I don't give a fuck. You do. I go back again, bringing up Philly when they got T.O. If you go back to their first preseason game with T.O., I believe they were playing Baltimore. They did that. Set the fucking tone right from jump and say, guess what? They're next. They got it. And hopefully you connect on it. I would send that fucking message the first snap, preseason game number 1, and usher in a completely new era of the Bears. But let's go around with our patrons here. Brad, you're first up here. What's like number 1 thing that you want to come away from preseason, you know, knowing?
Kind of. I just want to make sure like Justin is like legit, I guess, out there. Even though I hate it when everybody brings up the he can't pass this and that. Just prove all the doubters wrong. I hate that shit on Twitter. But yeah, and probably like to see how the running game does without like Montgomery there and everything, and see how all that goes, and hopefully we have an edge rusher by then, or a few edge rushers, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
as long as that's solidified too,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they want to see some of the young guys and see where they're at with that. But listen, when you're Ryan Poles is no dummy. I will say this. He did the media rounds right before he traded the number 1 overall pick. He did that for a reason. He was telling everybody that the for sale sign was out.
Oh yeah.
And he's very likely in the middle of a negotiation via trade or with a free agent. And he went out there to apply that public pressure today when he was talking with Waddle and Sylvie. This you have to be an absolute fucking dog. People don't even think of this stuff, in terms of negotiations. You get to a point, you go out there, you put some public pressure on it and say, hey, you got to come to my side of the negotiating table and realize if you want to be here, you're going to accept my terms and, we'll be here. Any pass rusher that comes here is going to be a huge part of this defensive core, this season. It's going to be, they're going to be right in the thick of it. But Jose, we haven't gotten to hear from you too much. Hopefully your audio is good. But what's the number one thing that you want to see in preseason from the Bears?
To be honest, I'm really, really interested to see Mooney comes back.
Yep.
I'm really, really excited. And also I want to see the kid from Texas. I think he's gonna be special.
Roshan, the running back?
Yeah, Johnson, And they picked up a quarterback or safety later on in the round from Minnesota, I believe.
Oh, Terrell Smith. Yep, he's a little bit older. But
I heard some pretty good stuff about him, though.
Yep, yeah, he's very, very talented. I think they took him in the 5th round. But yeah, again, it points to the investment in the secondary with Eberflus and with Ryan Poles, and it speaks to if they decide to move away from Jaylon Johnson and not pay him, they have these guys, coming up next.
I think that's a possibility too.
Oh, absolutely. Joe, where are you at, man? What are you hoping to come away from this preseason with?
Obviously health, 100% health. But I'd like to see. I want to see the offensive line get off the ball and see what backs are hitting the hole, because this is going to be a run-heavy offense. So if we're talking about converting third downs, they're gonna need to get it done on first and second down, and they want to run the ball. So is the line getting off the ball in unison quickly, and which back, and hopefully more than one, are hitting the hole hard?
What's your number one concern on the offensive line?
Gelling, just that they gel together. That and the 2 trips through Harry Heastand and all these. You're always hyped in camp about how great they're going to be on the offensive line, and they end up being bad.
Yep. But if you were going to give me a player, who is your number one concern on the offensive line?
Left tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Braxton.
Yeah.
Totally fair. It's totally fair.
Second year, we got to see if he got bigger.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was very interested. Olin Kreutz was on because I know they're bringing their pod back, and he was on because he's going to be on the score breaking some stuff down during the season. And they asked him specifically about Braxton Jones. And the first thing that he said, it wasn't what I was hoping he was going to say. He said, I haven't seen Braxton in a little while. And I'm like, oh, because, everybody was talking about him being there and working out, but it sounds like Braxton came there for a little while early and then went and did his own thing, which that's his prerogative. That's fine. And it doesn't mean that Olin's program is the be all end all, but I was kind of under the assumption that I had heard that Braxton was here the entire time, but it sounds like he kind of went and did his own thing. But Olin did speak to the fact that he goes, when I told Braxton one thing, he did it, and he didn't fuck up a second time. When I told him you can't be doing this. He didn't go out there and repeat the same mistake. So I think that is a very positive thing. I'm probably looking into it a little bit too much when he said I haven't seen him in a little bit, but I know Olin likes to he drops some truth bombs sometimes that you don't want to hear, but hopefully they're all ready to go.
Is he bigger? Is he actually stronger?
We'll see. He's got they're called thin pins in the scouting community. He's got those thin pins. Yeah, those Cars, you and I talked about it a little bit. Like, I have a picture, I should actually post it, of him in a pass set, and you look at his calves, and I'm like, how is this dude in the NFL playing on the offensive line? And he looks like he's got those basketball player ankles where it's so thin, and you're like, man, yeah.
Those Kobe White calves,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's.
Go ahead.
He has to be the biggest question mark. I mean, I don't. The only one that comes kind of close would be white hair and his transition back to center.
Yep.
But like everything is sort of pinned. Darnell Wright could move left tackle. Please don't get me wrong. But like everything is pinned on him and his agility, really sealing that position up. And if he's better this year, like that escalates everything, because you've got a 5th round player on a rookie deal for 2 more years. It just he doesn't necessarily need to be top 5, right? But he can't be bottom 5, right? And do it. So completely agree there.
Yeah,
better than Leno.
Well, that's a small bar. That's
anything's better than Leno.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you, my man?
Well, I know Joe just talked about it, but for me, it's definitely the O-line. Like, I just need to see this O-line gel. I think as Bears fans, like, for too long, we've just seen subpar to just straight up terrible O-line.
Yeah.
I think another thing that, I wanted to speak on is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really tired of the Claypool narrative. I really want to see Claypool play, but at the same time, I'm so tired of hearing people bitch about Claypool's a bust already. Really? Like, how many games did he play? 6? Halfway through the season, something like that, on a new playbook that he's not familiar with, that we've heard multiple times. That is,
and he started to get involved a little bit more. I believe. What was it? Was it the Green Bay game? And then he got dinged up, right?
He did, and because I was actually messaging you guys when he got dinged up because I was at the game.
Yeah,
I was letting you guys know how he was doing. But I think he was starting to kind of come up at that point. And he kind of got sidelined by being injured, obviously. But I'm just tired of hearing about it. But
his presser was important today, because like you heard him say things like, I feel much better in the locker room. Like I feel, all those things. And some of these guys are wired a little differently.
Oh yeah.
But his size, his skill set is so different from everybody else in this wide receiver room. Like, again, this doesn't mean but he's your sort of T. Higgins-like player, big, fast, with good leaping ability. If they keep him interested, if it looks like his rookie year, that's a big win to go get a guy who's doing like 60 catches, 800 yards, and averaging 15 a pop. Like, the best case scenario is for us, ahead of Mooney, is for Claypool to go take that number 2 position.
Well, and Cars, to your point, looking at all the weapons that we have now on the offense, I just can't see with his tools that he can't be successful in this offense. They're going to find ways to target him.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not a tools issue. It's a noggin issue and a buy-in issue, and not worrying about what music is being played at practice and letting that affect how you approach practice.
Let's hope his football players is better than his fashion. Because that is bad. That is fucking bad.
That's the same jacket. That's the same jacket we're sending Jose Torres to training camp with.
I have that.
So hard on Twitter.
I don't know. The Connect 4 is the name of that.
I can pull it off. I can pull it off.
I've got that in navy and maroon. I don't understand what the problem is. I really don't.
But Brad, what about you?
Oh, what was the question?
I forgot.
Offensive line, or what are you looking to see on offense?
Well, I didn't know if you were like, okay. Probably how Cody Whitehair really comes together. Because we haven't had a center in forever, so I mean,
yeah.
I hope he plays really well. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. We talked about it, and I think Cody's got it in him, and unfortunately, Cody was so close with.
You played that position before.
Yeah, he was so close with Mitch. I think it really affected him when Mitch was ushered out of here. And I know originally he had said his most comfortable position is offensive guard, and that's where he'd rather play. But he's the consummate pro, and he's going to go where they need him. And it's going to be interesting because if it doesn't work out, the Bears, you're going to go back to John Michael Schmitz.
I'm going to bounce out for 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Brad.
Yeah, no problem, Brad.
You look at that, that was a guy that was available that really wasn't expected to be available to the Bears in the second round when they took Dexter. And, it's going to be interesting to follow his career if Cody struggles. And I know we'll go back to Lucas Patrick, and then we'll see, how Doug Kramer is. But yeah, if he falters, it's going to affect the entire line. And Lucas Patrick, leader, consummate pro. Do I have any confidence in Lucas Patrick making any type of an impact on this team, playing,
No.
actual snaps? No, none. It's going to be a fucking probably. Listen, if he's got to get there an offensive guard, I would just put anybody else in there. He cannot play offensive guard. And right now it seems like he's the primary backup at multiple positions, and that's I am not there.
I don't think he is anymore, because I think that it really looks
Carter.
like Carter is the backup at both guard spots, but it does look like Patrick is the guy at center. And guys, one of the things I want you to look out, and this is selfishly, if they do position drills one-on-one, I want to hear anytime that Dexter and Jenkins go head to head, because that is one of the ones, we talked about this earlier. That is one of the ones I'm most excited to see, two mammoth men that are going to go face off against each other. That one has got to be some must-see.
We need to clip the mammoth men. One that
absolutely.
Absolutely. But I want to play a little bit of this. I'll bring up Chase Claypool because I know probably not everybody got to watch it, but let's listen to him for a couple of minutes and kind of see where his head is at and in what is the most important season of his career coming up here in Chicago.
My status remained the same for me. I was good, but that was just something that we wanted to do. And
how would you describe this spring and summer for you physically in terms of the things you had to deal with and that kept you off the field?
Yeah, so I think the spring was really good just because I was able to, get that full off season in with Justin and Getsy, really understand the playbook, the different positions. So that was really good in developing my knowledge of the playbook, which makes the game a lot easier. I think that's my biggest takeaway from it.
Have you been able to get settled and reset now going into the season?
Oh yeah, it's just easier when the learning curve isn't as steep. When you know what's going on, when you can start asking deeper questions about what's happening in the coverages, stuff like that, rather than learning from an elementary side of things.
When you reflect on last season, what were some of the biggest challenges of coming in midway through like you did and kind of finding your way and getting acclimated?
Yeah, I think it was playbook and it's tough to play as free and as fast as you can when you're running up to the line and you're trying to think not only what you have but what the guy beside you has, because that matters as well. So now knowing what each position is doing and being able to plug and play anywhere, it just makes the game easier.
You say the F word?
Yeah, I think that's key. What he just said, not just knowing his own, but now he feels comfortable knowing what everybody else is doing. And if you are in that mindset and you're comfortable with the chaos, and like I said, if you've ever been lucky enough to be at field level on a sideline for a Division I college or an NFL football game, if you've never experienced that, it's the craziest thing ever. With you wonder how anybody can figure out anything that's going on. And you know, you talk about the turmoil that comes with thinking that you're going to be in Pittsburgh for your career and getting traded in the middle of the season, you know, coming back to Chicago, not having things go your way, and getting injured. There's a mental hurdle there that you have to get over, that I don't think a lot of people, you know, they just say that, oh, he sucks, and they default to, oh, Pittsburgh never, you know, never lets good players go. And I don't think that's the case. Yeah, they have a great track record, but still, I'm very, very excited. You know, just like another name that we haven't brought up yet is Tevin Jenkins. I put Chase Claypool in the Tevin Jenkins, you know, side of the table, in guys that I'm very excited to see, because let's just talk some positivity here. Let's just go with let's pull out the Greg Bragg sunshine and rainbows portion of the show real quick. Let's just say let's say Chase Claypool takes that step, and then DJ Moore is who the Bears traded for. Well, then the offense is going to take the step, and they're not only going to take a step, they're going to be a fucking problem.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Fields. And think about that. You know, that is very exciting to think about. And I know it's a lot of what ifs and if it's going to happen, but hey, who knows? And again, don't forget, Chase Claypool, 24 years old. Chase Claypool's the same age as the wide receiver that Green Bay drafted last year. A lot of people forget about that.
Not to get too optimistic, but Shane and Cars, I'm interested to hear your take. So what happens if Claypool and Mooney show out this season? Who do you extend?
You didn't listen to our last 2 or 3 shows, did you, Mike?
No, I definitely have. Do I remember every minute of it? Absolutely not.
Well, that's on you then. I'm sorry if you're not taking adequate
you're gonna have to give
notes.
us those tickets back.
I mean,
No.
Shane, I think it's got to be Claypool. The investment is there. It would have to be Claypool.
People don't want to hear it. Listen, if he hits, the investment is already made in him with the 2nd round draft pick that you gave up with this regime. And if you want to break things down, and I understand Darnell Mooney, there's not a negative.
Forget about the investment. How about just the player on the team who, for the longer period of time, will be better for the team? Because
if you hit on Chase Claypool, to Carr's point, you don't have anybody like him.
You don't have 6'4", 225 guys that run 4.4 and can go up and get the ball like he can, right? Like that skill set. If he continued his growth like where he started his rookie year and his second year, I'm not going to tell you how.
I didn't hear what Jose said. What'd you say, Jose?
My wife is trying to distract me, but I'm not going to tell you how.
All right.
Shit, okay.
Tell her to take a lap.
I think you just told us, Jose.
All right.
Yeah. No, my thing though is, listen, I understand what you're saying about Claypool. Obviously, he's a freak of nature. If he hits, he could be great. But with Mooney, I mean, listen, Mooney can be a possession receiver who can make huge plays, first downs, you know, and he can block. Obviously, we saw how much he can block, and that's huge for the rest of the offense. So
it's not a shot against Mooney by any means, but his skill set is a lot easier to find. You know, like and that
they
again,
may
it doesn't mean
they
that
may
he's,
have just found it in the 5th round this year.
Yeah, Tyler Scott is Tyler Scott is kind of that guy. You just don't find 6'4", 220, 4.4 speed guys that regularly. That's why Poles kind of took that swing. And he, you know, again, his first 2 years with Ben Roethlisberger's arm falling off, he averaged 14 plus a catch at that point. So it just becomes like him being that type of guy, and you pair him with Cole in a red zone. That's now extremely difficult to defend against. Goddard and AJ Brown type of things. Maybe not to that level of talent, but that's the type of guys that you look at. Mooney, I think, gets a little dinged because last year, starting off where he was the number one guy and he didn't show off right away and he struggled just like the offense did. I think that factors in, and some of this is my bias into what I think Claypool can be, but I think all of that kind of just lines up to where that is.
Do you guys think it puts Poles in an awkward position if Mooney ends up outperforming Claypool?
No, because he says we took that shot and we go. You know,
you have to have you have to have the mindset of a corner. You get beat for 70 and you're on to the next play, and that's the price of doing business in the NFL. Listen, fans, I always think it's funny, and listen, before I started doing this aspect of it, I was just as guilty of doing this. But you know, if Kendall Williamson goes out and gets cut in camp, 80% of Bears fans are going to say that was he's a fucking bust. Poles is a fool. Drafted this kid in the 7th round. You know, that's not the way these guys look at it at all. You can't make an issue worse by staying. They've made an investment in Claypool. If it doesn't work out, then guess what? He doesn't get the contract. He hits the open market, and that's it. It's over.
But what do you if Claypool hits? What are you guys considering hitting? Like, what are the numbers that you're talking about? Like, so when you say he hits, like you're talking, he's getting over 1,000 yards.
It's got to be I think he has to flirt with 1,000 yards because to the point before with Ben Roethlisberger, those were 800 yards plus seasons, almost 900 yard seasons. Yep. So if he's back to that form or a little bit better than that, flirting with 1,000 or at 1,000, that's my limit for him. Like,
not about touchdowns, is it about just yards?
No, I mean you have to have
be about touchdowns.
You have to have about like 7 to 8 touchdowns. 1,000, 7 to 8 touchdowns. That sounds
I think Mooney will have more yards than Claypool.
The thing you gotta look at is the way that targets get distributed in the NFL. Yeah. So let's just use Buffalo as the example, because as an offense, that's probably as close to what we're going to be. So you've got DJ Moore and that Stephon Diggs role. That's 150 targets that went Diggs' way last year. You have Gabriel Davis last year. So if you want 1,000 yards, by and large, you've got to be over 100 targets. It's just kind of the way that works. Gabriel Davis last year is going to be the Claypool method. Gabriel was 93 targets. He was 60 plus catches. He was 80 plus yards. But what you want to see out of him is stretching the ball vertically. So you want to see very similar 14, 15, 16 yards a catch. And you want to see those numbers. Because I still think when you look at the way that the Bears offense is still going to be, it's going to be heavy run still. Look at what Green Bay did last year. Look what we did. Now the passing game is going to be more.
Pass attempts. Will there be enough pass attempts?
There won't.
For all these guys, Claypool, Mooney,
if you
Kmet,
pass the ball,
Cody.
if you pass the ball 500 times, and 150 of them go to DJ Moore, you've got 350 catches to go between your running backs, Kmet, Tanyan, Claypool, Mooney.
So it's going to be on the play caller.
Yeah. So you're there's just not enough there. You just want what you really want to see out of him is him stretching the field. If he is making contested catches, if he is averaging 14, 15, 16 yards a catch and is a red zone threat, that is what really good is going to look like to me.
Cars, do you think he'll get 150 targets?
DJ, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's sort of 100%. Yeah, it's sort of expected at this way right now. Those, again, if you look at kind of where the 1,000-yard receivers are, the low end is 120, 130. But if he, like from what we've seen and what we've heard, there's a good connection. There's good rapport. You're going to be looking at 100 and 150. So how many times are we passing the ball? And if we're still like last year, where it's like 450 runs, and
that's
500 passes,
that's a
just not
fucking
enough.
problem. Yeah,
It's not. Green Bay had a wonderful offense with that.
Yeah,
and the you want to look then, if we don't have that many attempts, you just want to look again. I'm repeating myself. Yards per catch on these guys. If the run game is hitting, I don't need a high volume. Philadelphia did not have a high volume of passes, but A.J. Brown and Devontae were like 16, 17 yards a catch. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the efficient runs. You don't want to have to give the guy 20 plus carries to make an impact on the field. It's going to be much that way in the passing game, and you see it, with Philly. A lot of people forget how much they have run the football really forever. But when they pop on their play action, they're fucking hitting it for 60.
Yeah.
They're hitting it for 70 and a touchdown consistently. That is really what the Bears are striving for right there. And like I said, in Cars, it's a great point. And Claudio, it's a great subject that you brought up. If the Bears invest in Claypool, it's not a shot. It's not a negative at Darnell Mooney. You have to look at these guys. He can be the next David Montgomery, a good player, very good player, a leader.
Yes.
But it's the price. It's the price of doing business. And again, we talk about the Bears looking forward. Why is Tyler Scott here? The same reason why the Bears have invested in corners, because Jaylon Johnson's a free agent. Yeah, and they're looking. I couldn't hear you, Jose.
The other receiver from last year, the drop athletic guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
St. Brown.
Bayless
Jones. Yeah.
It could be the end of him if both Mooney, Kmet, and Claypool pop. It might be the last we see of him.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
You got to see where. We don't know what Darnell Mooney's financial expectations are. Cap was on here talking about, is it 15? Is it 17?
And with his rookie year ended short with the ankle.
Yep.
His last year ended short with the ankle. He had to have a big surgery done. There's a lot of questions about his longevity in a
15 sounds steep for him.
I hear you. But this is another way that you have to look at it too. And it's. I guess you can bring up the running back market a little bit. Saquon was a very high pick. Saquon got legit guaranteed money with his rookie contract. Darnell Mooney has not. Darnell Mooney has not made generational wealth at this point. He's a 5th round draft pick. So I don't blame him for wanting 15 or 17. That's you go get it. Go get what you can get.
Yeah, yeah.
Under the circumstances that Claudio brought up, if Chase Claypool shows anything positive under the circumstances, and he puts together one of those seasons that we're talking about, you think about the fit physically with DJ Moore, who's under contract for 3 seasons. You think about that. Is he going to – I don't know. They're definitely not paying both of them. And another thing that you have to look at is moving forward, depending on how the Bears finish, depending on how Carolina finishes. Again, let's just say you have the third – let's just say you finish and you have the 3rd pick in the draft, Carolinas. Then you're in Marvin Harrison Jr. territory. And that's – and then you're Darnell who? Nobody gives a fuck.
Well, that's a different case. But listen, I think if they both have good years, but Mooney outproduces them, I think you also got to think about the relationship. Justin Fields and Mooney are boys.
You're
okay?
taking this too personally right now, Claude. We know he's your.
You don't think Fields has a say?
Claude
You
is
don't think
shedding.
Fields
Remember,
has a say?
Claude was shedding tears.
2 years ago, every player of the week, Mooney. I'm giving it to me. He had
No,
zero
no, I'm
catches.
being dead
No,
serious,
but he
though.
was.
You don't. I'm asking you a question.
No,
You don't
Claudio.
think that
I
has
think you're
anything
right.
to do with
It absolutely does. But I, the one thing I will disagree with Shane on is I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that they would extend both, because this is another player. Again, there's one more year before we really start to worry about that Field thing. We've still got 81-ish million in cap space for next year. There's nothing that precludes them from extending one now and
absolutely.
structuring it to do that now. And then you make Mooney happy because he doesn't have that generational wealth. And just like Kmet, you go, here's 20 million year one, you're ready to go. Because it's always hard to do this, but Cincinnati, you've got Chase, you've got T, and you've got Boyd, right? Like that is your three. You look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia does it a little differently, where it's Smith, Brown, Goddard, right? Like that is the way that it works. You want to have three. I don't think it's realistic because I think Kmet, by the contract and the way it works, is automatically part of that three. But, I think but
yes, Ryan.
I
2,500, but that's okay.
I'm fascinated by it. I think it's the best, but in that scenario, that is the best case for us, because that means as an offense, we're dropping 30 plus a game and we're just having fun. Like I'll take that problem day in, day out.
They pay him. I'm not, whatever it is, what it is. I just, you talk about paying Kmet. I would just be a little bit surprised when, I know DJ's deal, it decreased.
He might be an extended, he might be a guy that gets extended here soon.
And then you lower his numbers too. But I would be, hey, best case scenario, they pay him, and like Carr said, it's a positive for the entire team. I just myself would be a little bit surprised if you're gonna have, because at that point you'd have a $20 million wide receiver and two dudes hovering around in the $15 to $17 million range at the same position. Along with a tight end that you just paid.
I think they give Claypool like a 1-year deal or like a prove-it deal if Mooney outperforms him, I guess you could say.
I think he would try to hit that market as hard as he could, because if he has a decent enough year, guys like him don't become available if anything, because it's such a starved position overall. So
why they traded for him. I mean, let's be honest.
They could have held that over his head and stuff too, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, wise,
if he has a bad year, he might take it.
Oh, if he has a bad year, he's gone.
Yeah.
Bad year, he's out.
That's why the question is,
he's got to do better than 6.
No, I don't look at it again in the sense of catches and yards. Look at it in the way of big plays, the way they use him in the screen game. He's going to be a bigger part in some of those kind of quick hit, those first downs. You want to look at him at big plays, yards per catch, and red zone impact. And if that's where he is, if you use the old Jimmy Graham, like he doesn't get a ton of yards, but he gets 10 touchdowns because he's such a beast in the red zone, you're going to pay it. That's just the way that's going to work.
Yeah, they overpay.
Yes.
They did count.
I mean, that is Ryan, I'm overpaying Pace's motto, basically.
Yeah.
You're a $6 million guy. I'll give you 8. So don't you want to play here?
Learn from Jim Hendry.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. That type of person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think he's
This is his second year, really, man. We're going to see a lot more of him wheeling and dealing. I think he's going to make some pretty good decisions about, who's going to get paid.
Jose, right now you sound like you're You sound like you're in that. You sound like you're in that sub that imploded a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's 100 yards far in a cave yelling.
I know why it is.
Being distracted by his wife.
Stay closer, Jose. Stay closer to the computer.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know why.
There you go.
It's because I haven't medicated yet. That's what it is.
Oh, there you go.
It's because of Claudio. Claudio sounded like last week when he was.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say meditated and didn't actually mean
I thought you
high
said
as fuck? Is that really where we are right
Medicated.
now?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, medicated. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
like
you
this,
said
like this.
meditated.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I know I will.
I have to leave now. That is a nightmare scenario.
Oh, you guys didn't even see the
Oh my
Claudio. They didn't experience the Open. Should we?
I was tearing
Should
up.
we?
Oh, it was
Should
so
we play
good.
it? Should we play it one more time for him?
Great Angelo.
Yeah,
That is so
this-
Buffalo Bill like.
If anybody's got to get up and go to the bathroom, if you
Yeah,
guys
you
do
milk
this,
it.
We'll play the opening one more. I'm just
he
gonna play this and stare at Ivan the whole time because I know he's gonna lose his shit. But here we go.
Oh, Lord.
Hello, everyone. My name's Angelo Marino, and I'm friends with you on Facebook. And today I'm going to show you the beautiful antique sculptures I bought from Cindy's Unique Shop next to Rose's Deli on Route 5, Wallingford, Connecticut. I'm going to start to begin with the ceramic birds that I got, and I'm going to show you just a little bit. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Look how beautiful these birds are. They look so real. They look so real that ci mangono solo le parole. In Italian, that means all they need is their chirping little voices. I love birds. Some people call me the bird whisperer.
How new is that? That's crazy.
Claudio.
That says it all right there.
I love it. I love
Hold on. I'm sorry. Claudio,
Yeah.
you have
Now
to
I
go
know I
get-
need to get medicated.
Yeah.
Oh man, my glasses are all fogged up and shit. Like
Claudio,
it's
I
just
need
funny.
you to go rescue my cardboard cutout from his barn.
Oh man,
I can't imagine what
terrified.
that thing looks like right now.
I am terrified right now.
Yeah, hold a black light over it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like,
here's
that's
the
exactly my fear.
here's
Yeah.
the best part. Over the years with oh my god. Jesus Christ. With Angelo over the years, there would be a lot of phone conversations where we would or me specifically would call him up and say, all right, this is the script, this is exactly what I need you to do, and he would go about it. That was before I even knew Angelo. That was all on his own, and this was stuff that he was putting out.
That was the first video. I went out to eat with Phil and Steph and my wife. He played that video to me in the car. He's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna ask this guy to come on the show," and he showed me this video, dude. I'm like, "That's the best idea. Let's bring him on."
Honestly, I've never like looked at those like whenever we take them down. Obviously, we don't want to overplay them.
Sure.
But whenever I see Angelo's face and in those videos and all the shit that he says and he does, it just brings so much joy to my fucking heart.
Oh.
It's so funny.
It's worth the $7.
Oh man, yeah,
my
he's
friends, it's worth the $7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's
Yeah.
worth a year of Patreon right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Listen, the
100%.
Patreon is paying for my
I just love
therapy
all
right
the
now.
characters here. I swear.
oh man, yeah, we've
There's
had a
news
lot.
about
Cherie's probably in the background getting ready to kill us because she's not an Angelo fan, but yeah, the ladies and gentlemen in Wallingford, Connecticut. But yeah, we sent him when we opened up the 2021 NFL draft. Angelo kicked it off for us, and he picked Carr's #1 overall in the nerd draft, and we presented him with a Carr's fathead that Angelo put up in his barn, and it's
That
probably
was right next to his Angelina Jolie
cardboard cutout. Yep.
Tomb Raider cardboard cutout. So with Brad, when you said like get the black light, please do not.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I just want someone to get
Put
it.
the black
and
light in the
set it
whole
on
farm,
my-
the whole barn.
What's being done to your head, Cars?
That's what I'm working through on my therapist week in, week out for about 18 months now. That's really where we are.
Yeah, you need a therapist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man, we've had a lot of fun with the Angelo until he was holding us up. He wanted to. He goes, guys, I have my own following. I'm going to start my own show. You guys are keeping it 100. I'm going to call it keeping it 1,000 because I'm that much better. I'm that much better than you guys are.
Lord.
Yeah, that was.
He's supposed to come on like quarterly now, right?
What's that?
He's supposed to come on like quarterly now, right?
Yeah,
like
we haven't been in contact with him, but he still drops us some gems like this one.
Hello, everybody! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to Mr. Cars from the TTNL Network. I love you so much. Oh, yes, I do. You are the Donatello of the show, you know. Donatello, you are. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Cars. And it's your friend, Angelo. Happy birthday, Cars. We love you from the TTNL show. Keep it at 100, baby. Cars, I'm so happy that it's your birthday. When you come to Connecticut, I'm going to give your kids a ride on the wagon with the mini bike. There you have it, guys. We got a nice little wagon ride. There's a coupon redeemable by April 25th. You guys are going to...
Cars, I can understand
You poor man.
now.
You know,
He's like massively in love with you.
Oh, holy shit.
He's trying to kill you, Cars.
Oh, man.
The thing is like...
He takes you over that ramp.
There is a greater than 0% chance that he would try to kill me and remove my face and wear it as his own, right? It's not a 0% chance of that. And I am terrified. He ran for 47 seconds and was out of breath like he had run a marathon. I don't
grabber.
I don't understand how that happened.
You know, my own wife doesn't get that
doing the
excited
shimmy.
to see me for my birthday, and I don't know what to take on that. That's for sure.
Absolutely, but all right. Well, our patrons, we had you guys on for a little bit of time. We're glad we got to get you some tickets. We'll get you out there, and like I said, if you have any TTNL gear, please wear it and rep the brand. And
yeah, hit up us, me or Ivan, and we'll figure. Where
they'll
we're
be
gonna
there.
meet up. And
because Ivan, you'll get a hold of them too, right? About the meetup.
Yeah,
like the easiest.
It's typically at the mall, but I have all your emails now, so I'll be sending one giant email with all the details and everything like that. So nobody's gonna get lost. Nobody will be wandering about. So
absolutely,
Nice.
so
Awesome.
But
You can just
all right,
click
wait,
off
guys.
flip off the CHGO guys while you're there, and then I'll be happy.
You gotta burn their gear.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank
See
you.
Thanks, guys. See
Thanks
you
for
Tuesday.
having us.
Thanks
for
Later,
everything.
guys.
Do it again
Appreciate it.
soon.
Yep.
Later, guys. Peace.
Cars. I wasn't even planning to bust that last Angelo one out though, but we got a whole
I'm
library.
I'm so fucking happy you did, dude. Like honestly, like when I did not know where he was going when he said, "I want to give your kids a ride on my wagon." I honestly I lost my shit.
That one was all scripted by me. That was him performing everything. I'm like, well, this was when Carter's birthday was coming up, and I said, you're gonna give his kids a free ride on his little mini bike, and it's he couldn't get the word redeemable out. He kept on saying it's redeemable. It's redeemable. That was the whole thing. I got some of the outtakes that I should put together someday and put them out there. But yeah, it's pretty funny. And then he fucked up his jump on the mini bike. But
I mean, listen, Ivan, I get the point, because the first time I heard it and he paused after "I'm going to give you your kids a ride," I was 100% certain he was going to say "in my windowless van." Like that was where I thought that was going. And so I know that nightmare all too well. Yeah.
I didn't get to, just to get back to football, I didn't get through all of the pressers, but Cars, have you or any of you guys that had the chance to listen to him, was there anything else that like stood out to you that you thought was, noteworthy?
So the two things that really stood out to me were, one, when they were talking about the ball not being, you mentioned earlier, right? The ball not being on the ground is off on offense, that there weren't the false start penalties. One thing, I think you kind of in a way have to give Justin some credit for that, because he got everybody together and work in Miami to make sure that they were there and ready. And that leadership stuff is totally underrated. And I'm like, so I thought that was a big deal. And the other one, we talked about Cole earlier, but the way they talk about Cole every chance that they get about who he is and what he means to the team and how important he is, and that he's the first one to get the extension. Like we've seen enough now that we really understand the type of guys that they love and that they want to build around and who are there. And I think you just keep piling on. Like that was the most happy I've seen Flus after a practice in quite some time. So it was nice to see.
Just one real quick note, when we were talking about Claypool, I brought up his info here, and they have him listed at 238 pounds at 6'4".
Oh yeah.
That's bonkers. That's a whole different. I mean, the Bears haven't had a dude like that. Who's the last one? Brandon Marshall. That.
Yeah, because even Alshon wasn't that big. Yeah, it would have to be
South Carolina when he was a fat mess. But other than that, it's.
What is this?
Speaking of fat messes,
what is this?
He's not.
Is this real life?
That is one of the worst transitions ever. Because now everyone's like, "What are they talking about?" And it's just the four of us sitting here on screen.
Well, now we have Cherie again. So hi, Cherie.
Cherie, did you tap out for the Angelo love?
I mean, I heard y'all, but I had to go eat. Y'all know I don't eat dinner. Between work and coming on.
What'd you have?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, Chick-fil-A. Okay.
What's a Cherie order at Chick-fil-A?
The deluxe chicken, no tomatoes.
Oh, that's my girl. No tomatoes. Now you're talking.
You like the waffle fries, or what you get on the side?
Oh, those waffle fries.
I mean, I do waffle fries, but that's not my favorite type of fry is steak fries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love Cherie's mom.
Chick-fil-A's overrated, honestly.
We did. We had the Chick-fil-A.
Talking about the mom.
We had Chick-fil-A milkshakes today for dessert after cheerleading camp. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to go.
Yeah. Cars is enrolled in cheerleading camp, not for his kids, it's for him.
Oh, it totally is.
We're not gonna judge.
Fuck them kids, right? So I mean, let's just roll.
Yeah, that was Ivan was wearing that shirt when he got the foul ball.
Little did you know, the kid was on my leg, and I had to just stiff arm him off before I had to pick up the ball. So there's a couple things there's a couple obstacles in my way. The lady, the kid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So the guy that we're waiting to turn on his video is feverishly letting us know in the private chat that KFC has their version of Chick-fil-A nuggets now.
I'm good.
Where are you, Jackal? What are you doing? Jackal's in
He's
the back.
probably he just came back from coaching a game. I'm sure he's probably stuffing himself with KFC.
Yep. I tell you.
Smoke weed. I can only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but only imagine the smells coming out of that thing, but
Jackal better do some shit. Jackal better do some shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit now. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit. Jackal don't do shit.
Poor guy. Just can't catch a break.
But he takes it so well.
He does. He takes it like a champ.
On the chin. So anyway,
but doesn't it feel good to
I did not miss. I'm glad I wasn't here for all of the Angelo love y'all was giving.
Thank you.
You don't think he's a little bit funny? No. You don't get a little giggle? No?
Look at Cherie's disdain in her face.
But ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just sit here and talk for a while.
You gotta talk like you're in a sub that's getting ready to implode, like Jose was for 35 minutes.
Let me show you this beautiful remote.
Isn't it?
Lovely.
The best part is when
colors.
he breaks out the Italian when he's describing it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the part that I lose my shit on every time.
and that the bird chirping stuff he put in that video.
Oh yeah,
that's not us adding.
It's all editing.
No, I know he put that in there.
No. He's got it playing. He's got a little boom box in the background playing. I have an entire video of him talking about.
Wait. He has a boombox of birds.
Yeah.
What does he have? A cassette of bird sounds?
Ivan, at this point, how does this shock you? Like the problem is you in this regard right now.
Ivan, I have an entire video. It's along the same exact lines as the bird ones of Angelo. He got from the Wallingford Walmart. He bought He-Man toys.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And he's talking about it.
Oh, listen.
Yeah.
The guy, and I do like we could do a study because he's got the cardboard cutout of Angelina Jolie. He's got the poster of Kate Beckinsale behind him.
Yeah.
Like
I actually forgot about that.
And he's weirdly stroking ceramic birds. Like I don't know what the hell to make of all of this, but it is unsettling.
Put the lotion in the basket, Carl.
Yeah, or it gets the hose.
You must apply the lotion. That's probably what Jackal's doing right now.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Well, he did say he was indisposed at the moment. So
Yes.
I think we could put that 2 and 2 together. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think I have any more readily available. I'll have to go through my Angelo archives at some
About
point.
the one when he's dressed as the Italian with the
there he is.
Hey! Our resident scholar.
Hey!
Yes.
Oh! And ladies.
What's up, Mr. Jackal? How are you? No?
Oh, you can't hear anything.
Can't hear it?
Good.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Good.
All right. Well,
Jesus.
We are in mid-season.
Nope.
We are in mid-season form.
He didn't.
I'm ready for the C's.
He didn't accept the audio terms. It looks like he's.
There we go. Jesus.
There he is.
Hey.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
So
Please don't say ladies and
what
gentlemen.
is your go-to Chick-fil-A order, Jackal?
I have 3 boys in the car with me normally at that moment, so we're getting a plethora of nuggets and sauce and waffle fries, lemonade for them, and some sort of tasty beverage for Dad.
There you go. What's the go-to sauce?
I'm a Polynesian guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too.
I gotta do the Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
Charlie's a
I've never had the
Chick-fil-A sauce
Polynesian.
kind of guy.
I like.
You never had it?
But
No, I never had the Polynesian. Is that
That's
sauce?
in our
Jesus.
fridge right now
They're
upstairs.
Same here.
Oh, us
Same
too.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackals has a hoard of the
Is it like a sweet sauce?
sauces in there.
Is it sweet?
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a Hawaiian theme.
Holy shit! My son would brush his teeth with it if I'd let him. The Polynesian sauce.
I can't tell you.
Delicious.
I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times I've walked in like Aubrey drinking it straight from the squeeze bottle. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And she's like, it's so good, Dad. And I'm like, oh my God.
Delicious.
Well, I was gonna say the Chick-fil-A sauce, they sell that in like an
They sell
the Polynesian
And
is the same thing.
Is it?
Should be
Okay,
right
'cause
next to it.
I put that
It
on
should be
burgers.
like
I put that on
legitimately
everything.
right
It's
next
good.
to it on the shelf.
Good call, Claudio. It's good on a burger.
It's really good
Oh, yeah.
on burger.
Yeah.
I gotta try the Polynesian.
So
how you guys doing, man? How's it been going, man? How's Bears talk been chatting?
It got weird.
Yeah.
It got pretty weird for a while.
I saw Claudio finally had a shirt on. When I
got
looked
weird,
earlier,
yeah.
his shirt was off, so I didn't know what the hell was happening. But I'm glad you're clothed again, Claudio.
Yeah,
You might
he's
have got-
showing us his melanomas and all that good stuff, but you know, he's clean. He's clean, nothing to worry about.
Hey, we're just
That's how
taking care
close
of
of
each
a
other,
group
guys.
we are.
You know?
Yeah.
One day at a time here.
Like, hey,
Steph bounced out from underneath the desk, and she's like, "No, Claude, those are good. You know, nothing to worry about."
That's how close of a group we are. We're like, hey, I got this thing on my skin. Will everybody take a look at it? And we'll all do analysis.
It's supposed to be leaky. Is this stuff supposed to be popping out, pouring out of it? Yeah, not gross at all.
Here we
not
go.
Gross at all.
And there goes.
But no, I'm just glad we're back. You know, not that I don't love the NFL offseason, but this time of year right before camp, it gets a little bit monotonous. And I know we switched things up a little bit this year and took a little bit extra time off, and which was nice
Well
to do
deserved.
deserve to absolutely do the family thing and all of that. So I'm just glad it's back. You know, I'm eating up all of the information that's coming out. And, you know, one of the things that I talked about was that I wanted to see was not seeing the ball on the ground. And that was one of the positives that they pointed out today. So that's, you know, step one, day one there, you know, that's what I want to see. And it, you know, needs to continue. They need to string together these practices. And along with that, with positive practices is going to, you know, come with positive results on the field. And these guys are going to gain the confidence. And I think that's a big part of it when you have a young football team. Because listen, the Bears nationally, you have idiots like Colin Cowherd spouting his bullshit about Justin Fields. And Mike Tannenbaum is, you know, shitting on Justin Fields, you know, while, you know, let's not forget this asshole traded for Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
You know, when he's
an ex-GM for a reason. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly. He's ruined.
Can't sniff a job. Yeah.
As Greg Gabriel said to me on Twitter, you know, this dude's
Exactly,
ruined
Mr.
two
Gordon.
franchises. You know, and it's not Greg Gabriel. I'm talking about Tannenbaum.
Mhm.
But these guys love to go out there and make these grandiose statements. They know the Bears fan base has been, you know, downtrodden and getting shit on, and you get a little bit of a
ESPN guy that responded and said, you know, the thing about Coward is he doesn't believe in any of it, right?
it was Dan Lebitard.
Yeah,
down in Miami,
Dan Lebitard. And it's absolutely true. For those of us who grew up in Chicago, we know Jay Mariotti. You know, we had Skip Bayless here for a while. This is where they got their starts. Those guys would say the most outrageous things just to say them, just to get people in an uproar, because bad media is media. So
Where did you grow up, Cars? Did you say?
Chicagoland area.
I'm not smart. I'm not smart.
That's a great one.
We know, Greg. We know.
Who is that guy? Anyway, but it's, you know, like the thing I always want everybody to take away is stop giving a shit about these national guys. Stop giving a shit about the Packers and the Vikings and the Lions fans. If they're talking all this shit about us, it's because they know their team isn't that good either. Like the North is going to be a slugfest.
Wide open. It is.
And you know, like, as much as I think Detroit is the favorite, this is going to be their first year in my lifetime that they're the favorite to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
So that has a change in expectations.
Damn right.
And
Absolutely, Cars.
you just never see, like, just don't care. Focus on our own shit. Who cares if Bukaki thinks that Jordan Love is going to be a Hall of Fame player again? I don't give a shit, because he's spending more time trying to antagonize Bears fans than saying shit about his own.
Oh,
team.
and it's easy
Trying
to
to
fall.
wish it into existence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's easy to fall for, because hey, the Bears have been irrelevant for ever. You know, it's you get one season, you get excited about it, and then you get kicked in the balls the next season. That's the way that it goes. And
yep.
You know, it's going to be.
Also, we're easy targets. Bears fans are very easily triggered, so we're
Damn
very
right.
easy
Absolutely.
clickbait for a lot of them.
Yeah. It's like, you know, people can talk their shit, but that's why we're here to give it back and tell you what the truth is, and that's what separates us from other entities, because we will tell you to your face, and some people don't like it and care for it or whatever. And then you have assholes like me that usually say too much, and then Cherie's got to text me and tell me to calm down and shut the fuck up. So you know how it goes.
But you can't sit down and argue with people who don't know what a 12 personnel is or don't know, you know, like those things. If they don't know those basic things.
Is Valus in that package? He's number 12 cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're just not fans of the network, and B, they're you know, they don't know ball, man. You know, these are things you should know.
Yeah, and Bill puts it perfect here, and this really should be the, you know, don't feed the trolls. And it's listen, I struggle with it. You know, we can have 600 comments on the YouTube page, and if I see a negative one, I'm like, well, fuck that, got to address that, and I'll hop right in.
And then you'll text it to Ryan Cox and I and show us everything that you did to set that person on fire.
Yeah, look, this dude's mom's a cunt.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. You know?
And we're off.
Yeah, and we're off.
Fuck your mom.
It's
but
If
yeah,
the Bears are an easy target, you know, that's what happens is when you're
they
win
deserve
3 games,
they deserve to be. Yeah,
but they put themselves in that position for a reason last year. Poles stripped that shit down, and you know the criticism is kind of like, all right, yeah, I get it, but you know we've been talking about the fact that he rattled it to the core. He's been building this thing, you know, the way that he seems fit, and it's okay, talk your shit. We did have 3 wins, but you know, look where we're at. Look where it's not national buzz. You can just see the confidence in this, in like the way these guys are talking about what they're building. And there's just a different air about it. Eddie Jackson said it today. He's like, dude, I'm a fucking winner. He's like, I'm tired of fucking losing. And to be able to just look at this and or hear him say that, it was refreshing. I mean, he said it before, but I think they're actually starting to buy into what was being preached before. I mean, there's
I think that started.
You know,
I think that started last year.
Yeah,
and it started with a guy like Eddie Jackson, because you didn't know. You remember, you know, get your track shoes on.
Yep.
They didn't know how he was going to respond to it. Jaylon Johnson, to his credit, said he didn't believe in any of the bullshit that they were talking about, and then he saw that it made an impact. And listen, when you're told over and over and over and over again in practice, you look back at the Lovey team. You know, when the ball was on the ground, those guys knew you go get it and you run, you go. Look back, Bears would have made the playoffs. Don't forget, remember James Anderson, the linebacker for the Bears. The ball was literally at his shoestrings, sitting right there, and he was stared at it and didn't do anything. And Green Bay recovered the ball. That would have made you a division winner going to the playoffs. But this. I always laugh when people say that it's it's hokey. And no, those things matter when you're playing the game of football. You know what I mean? Those things 100% matter. Like hits philosophy, and they're like, oh, you know, it's bullshit. No, that stuff sells to the players. It gives them something simple to believe in, and it's reinforced every single down, every rep in practice, and it's very important.
It's why nobody quit. Like last year, when you're a team that is as bad as we were at 3-14, you expect to see quitting. You expect to see guys taking care of themselves and choosing to focus on next year instead of this year, right? You didn't see the quit in this football team. It just never appeared. We would see that so often in Nagy teams, right? Where it's like, this is just not our day. Fuck it, let's just go.
Live to play another day.
And I don't know if it's going to be results with this staff, right? Because it's usually unusual to have the guy that's there for when it's bad and to be there through the turnaround. But what they're building together, you at least understand the method to the madness. Pace wanted to get bodies and got talented players. No idea if they could actually play or where they could fit. These guys are looking for very specific things, and that's what they're building. We'll see where the results are, but it's just nice to have a plan where we're going to err on the side of youth. We're going to err on the side of our own players and player development, and we will see where that takes us, and that they believe in themselves and the staff to identify the right guys and develop the right guys.
What were you going to say, Ivan?
No, exactly what Carr, exactly what Carr says.
Yeah.
No, and it just read my mind.
I go back to looking at the Bears, and we talked about their misses in the draft and having to go out and listen, everything is an overspend in free agency, but the Bears had to jump into it because that was the only way that they were going to attempt to fix their mistake. But it's in year after year after year, you never saw any pattern of saying, oh, this is what they're doing. This is kind of the blueprint that they're using. I go back to the team when they went out and remember they had them all up on the podium at the same time. It was when they signed Julius Peppers and Brandon Malamaliuna and Chester Taylor. Julius Peppers, you understand. The guys like that don't hit the market, so I'm not even going to put him in there. You signed Malamaliuna because you traded Greg Olson. So you brought in a guy that was damn near 300 pounds for his blocking ability and got rid of a 24-year-old explosive
Hall of Fame fucking tight end
rounder for you that you actually hit on. And then Chester Taylor, I believe at the time, was like a 29-year-old running back. And you're like, what? You know, it just never
didn't make sense.
Nope. I mean, never made sense. And now you're seeing, and this was the thing with that I point to Demo. You see where the league is going overall with the running back position. And I know that the Bears made an offer to David Montgomery. David Montgomery didn't want to be here, but you see the plan, man, and it's something that we've talked about it for 2 decades at this point. In free agency, if you see a 24-year-old linebacker with the ability of Tremaine Edmonds and you have $100 million in cap space, well, that is the gamble that you take. You don't do it with a guy that's 31 years old. Remember when the Bears everybody was about, DeAndre Hopkins or going out, and the defensive tackle from Philly that went to San Francisco, a little bit older. Throw the money in
Hargrave,
there. No. Hargrave. Yeah. It doesn't fit your blueprint of where you are. Go out there, invest in the youth, and see where it goes. And if it doesn't work out in free agency, then you tried and you move off of it. But guess what they did? They go out and they supplement it. They go in the draft and they go heavy. And I'm going to be very interested. I brought this up the other week, seeing how they approach the 2024 draft, because Poles has showed the penchant for doubling up at the same position. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or in the same position group, with Kyler Gordon, then you went right back and you grabbed a safety. Well, then Tyreek Stevenson this year, and you see him doubling up at defensive. He actually drafted 3 defensive tackles. Everybody's forgetting about Travis Bell, who they brought in the 7th round. And it's going to be very interesting, and that's another way that you build camaraderie and you find leaders.
Yeah. You do that. You look, if we want to look at the 2 most successful periods of Bears, right? You look at the 80s. That was a team that was built from like the 78 to 83 draft. Like, look at the way that team went. When you're going from like back-to-back years, or it's like close by, you had Van Horn and Covert. You added your tackles in that time, and you allowed those players to grow. When you moved to 2000, when it started with Urlacher, and then you're, Mike Brown in a draft, and you've got all of these different players. You win consistently, and you win more when the best guys on your team are guys that you have drafted and developed. That is, as much as I'd love to make fun of Green Bay for not winning more Super Bowls, which they are, the reason they compete, nobody wants to go play in Green Bay. Free agents are beating down the door to go hang out at Culver's off of Championship Way, right? There's nothing to do there. So what do? You draft. And so in our lives, we've always seen guys take shortcuts. What happened with the Bears in the first Nagy year? All of a sudden, we're taking a shortcut and trying to add these guys and do all of this. That's why you have 1 10-win season, and then you fall right back to earth because you just don't win consistently.
Yeah, and I got caught up in the hype of when the Bears. I had just moved into our new house at the time here, where I'm at, when the Bears, like our first night, and I got up the next morning, and I'll never forget it. Cars, you and I were chatting via text that morning. I was on my way to the deli or bakery or running some errand, and my phone starts blowing up early before the trade hadn't been made yet, but they're talking about that the Bears are very heavily involved in trying to acquire Khalil Mack, and then like 7 minutes later, Albert Breer comes on and boom, the Bears have traded for Khalil Mack. And even that, I understood the talent acquisition part of it. I get it. But if you really look at where the Bears were, they were not ready for that move. They weren't.
No. And it's
too early.
Yeah,
and it hurts you long term
100%.
because as good as he was, you didn't have the draft picks to backfill that. You go the next year, you don't have a pick until round 3. The next year after that, you don't have anything until round 2.
Yeah.
And when you couple it with the fact that we missed on every round 1 pick that we had, like you just
and that first year, so that was the David Montgomery year. You ended up sacrificing even yet another draft pick because you traded up that year to get David Montgomery in the 3rd round. But that's the thing. And it's when you hear Ryan Poles talk about sustained success, this is exactly what he's talking about. It's you have to be ready for these moves. And like I said, love Khalil Mack, love the talent. But you know what, guys? His number this year, he's still playing on the Chicago Bears contract that they gave him for the Chargers.
$24.5 million, isn't it?
I thought somebody said it was like 38 this year. Because remember, they did all those restructures and shit. It was something crazy.
Gotcha.
I thought somebody said like 38 million was his number. Maybe it was lower. Maybe I read it wrong. But even it just shows you the Bears traded for Khalil Mack.
Oh my
God. His number is 16 million. It's next year, I think, that his
dead cap is 30.5 million.
Yeah, next year it's 38 million.
So that's what it. But think about that. And the Bears gave him that deal in 2018. So you're talking 2024. And this is where when you want to say that fuck cap, it doesn't matter. It fucking absolutely matters. And this is reason number 1 why it matters. Khalil Mack at this point in 2024 is going to have a number of 38 million. It's craziness.
And so again, yes, the cap is not real. You can manipulate it, but all you do is punt into the future.
Yep.
Green Bay has been doing that for time, and when you look at them and the Rams, right?
Yeah.
What happened last year with the Rams? Those guys got old, they fell apart, and now they don't have the draft picks to go redo.
They're trying to
and
trade
restock.
Stafford. They're trying to get rid of everybody.
They have to.
Yeah.
So you absolutely, the cap is not real. You can manipulate it, but at some point you have to pay the piper.
Yep.
And what you want to happen is that you've been good enough that you've been competing for a Super Bowl or winning a Super Bowl. And we were doing it for a team that went 8-8 and 8-8 and then fell off, right? You can't keep punting into the future unless you're good and unless you've got a core that you've built through the draft that is really good.
It's where it all starts. And number 1, you have to get the quarterback position right. None of it. It does. If you can draft fantastically, and if you cannot figure out the quarterback position, you're fucked. And if you get it right, everything else beyond that falls in place so much easier. And
Look at Cincinnati. They
big
went
time,
from
yeah.
an awful franchise that we made fun of how bad they drafted, and they did, and they deserved it, and they have less scouts than the Bears, and they just happen to get Joe Burrow, who is to me the second best quarterback in the NFL. And yes, Jamar Chase absolutely helps, but you now have the guy that you're now in every game. The fact that that team went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago is incredible.
Yeah, he got
for
sacked so
50
much.
plus times. He sacked and hit
so much.
more than anybody. Jonah
Yeah,
Williams
yeah.
was one of the worst tackles in all of football last year as a top 10 pick. You get the quarterback right, not as much matters anymore.
No, it's true, and like I said, and we can't forget, this one trade is, and we're nowhere near finding out how it's going to be finalized and worked out when the Bears going from number 1 to number 9. We have a pick in 2025 from the Carolina Panthers, and you look at Ryan Poles, and it was so refreshing when he came in. And this is another thing that we're not used to. The Bears never said, all right, we have these big names, but we're going to strip it down. We're going to build it back the right way. We're going to trade these veterans for what we can get. We're going to ship out Khalil Mack for a 2. We're going to trade Robert Quinn for a 4th. We're going to get a 2 for a young guy that we're not going to meet him in his financial expectations in Roquan. And you do that. And it's, obviously the Chase Claypool trade has not worked out yet. We'll see how that goes, but I just feel like they're doing it the right way. There's no quick fix to this. And
that's the right way to say it, Shane.
Yeah.
Like we'll see the results.
It takes time, man.
But it's we're finally doing the right thing.
Yeah, you're going down the right path. You might drive off the fucking road into a volcano. Shit happens, but at least you're on on the right path, and it's there's
you look like an NFL franchise, like you're operating as such.
Yes,
exactly.
Which we haven't, and
Kevin Warren.
Thank you. Kevin Warren has been such a wonderful addition to this. Like, you have a group of people who give a shit. Not that I don't think Ryan Pace didn't mean it when he said, like, we want to win for Virginia, which is one of my least favorite phrases of all time. But he had no plan. He had no method to get there. They had no idea. Nagy had so many flaws. They had no idea how to develop players. Ryan Pace didn't know how to draft players that Nagy would want anyway. Like, it was the worst marriage of all time. And we were a rudderless ship. And now there are things in place to give us direction. And so we will see. And there's just a lot more legitimate hope than me having to talk to Dustin and make something up so that I feel excited about this. Like,
amazing,
legit.
Amazing what a standard could do to your football team.
Yeah.
How
not only
minimal is
culture, a leader.
Not only is there a plan and a blueprint, there's also an exit strategy.
Yes.
There's a backup plan, and this isn't a shot at Justin Fields, but you have listen. And one thing that I think that is funny is everybody's like, a lot of fans will fall into the trap of saying, "Oh, hey, if Justin doesn't work out this year, then we're going to trade up for Caleb Williams." Well, no, you're not going to trade for Caleb Williams unless you have the number 1 or the number 2 pick, because those teams that have those are very unlikely to trade out of it. If it's Arizona or whomever it is, but it's going to be
the Carolina Panthers.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's.
Well, when their Oompa Loompa quarterback gets
trade
injured,
with you again.
He was getting massive hype today.
Big
in
time.
the Panthers practice about his anticipatory throws and stuff like that, and that's who he is, and he is elite at that. But when the bullets when the bullets start flying for real, the pads can't start for anybody, and
because then you won't be able to see his face anymore because he'll get swallowed by all the pads.
Yeah,
sorry,
that boy some milk.
Yeah, so we'll see. And listen, he's going to have games where he puts up monster numbers, and because he's as talented as they come. It's just, you want to talk about sustained success? Is his body composition, his structure, is that sustainable in the NFL?
He'll be the first.
Yeah,
is the way to look at it. He
complete
would be the
outlier,
first one with that. Like Kyler Murray is already falling apart, and he's way
and
more
he's not anywhere near is the way that they're both built. I mean, Kyler Murray's a fucking tank.
Yeah. He is.
Bryce Young is slight. I mean, there is not much to that kid.
And he's going to get more slight as the season progresses, too, right?
Yep.
So, like, you all of a sudden he's sitting there like week 12, week 13 against Tampa and that pass rush.
Yeah.
And he's weighing 5-10 pounds less. Vita Vea hits that kid. Good night.
The life out of him.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I was just looking for a picture from camp here.
And listen, I know I like to make fun of him, but there was an interesting tweet, and we can take it because it does come from DBB.
Yep.
But he did say one thing he keeps hearing from the people in the building is how much this has become Fields' team.
Yeah.
The room is taking on his personality.
That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And
did you see that he was approached about doing that quarterback
bring
show?
that up.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I don't need a distraction for the team. I don't want
Jalen Hurts turned it down also.
Yeah. No additional distractions. He's all about ball. He's about building the culture. It speaks to what we were talking about before, seeing exactly what's happening. Why the fuck would you want to bring cameras in and just disrupt that? I mean, hey, it looks like Conrad out there with a bunch of like adults. Oh my God.
That looks like the kid who gets called up from T-ball to go play pitch for fast pitch. But this one just happens to look like junior high kid.
It looks
like
like
a kindergartner.
It's gonna look like Ivan trying to get autographs on Tuesday.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Not that the kid's not talented. Like I said, that's just the
It's a tough road, man. It's the numbers are against him there. Where there are 3 quarterbacks under 6 feet tall that were successful.
Was he taller than Doug Flutie?
I think they're the same height. I mean, they're 5'1". I don't know.
I mean, Alabama had him listed at 6 foot, and there's no way. I know
he was 5'10"
with fucking cleats on.
Yeah,
the helmet.
And remember, like, I read everything into the fact that he's like, he weighed in at his pro day or the combine. And refused to weigh in anywhere else. So, like.
Well, and it goes beyond that. He weighed in at the combine, but then refused to work out.
Yeah.
Because it was all water weight, and he didn't want to bomb his workout.
You heard all the change jiggling around in his pocket.
Then he got rid of the water weight for his pro day, but he refused to weigh in at his pro day. And I know they had him. What did they have him listed at, like 201? And
there's no way.
No, he played at like 176.
Like those dudes hiding weights and fish. He's using his prison wallet.
And imagine
trying to take care of shit.
Imagine him.
I'm just glad we said prison wallet on the podcast.
Imagine him.
That's the first.
Imagine him in Soldier Field in mid-December as a player that doesn't have great escapability. It's a fucking
Imagine
problem.
him against that San Francisco game that was so wet and all over the place. Like,
I gotta go ahead and clip that. 234.
Oh Lord.
Oh man. Prison wallet to wet. Oh,
Card, you gotta get some clips. You're back on the show here. It's like
everybody wants less cars. It's fine. We don't need clips. We can just
I don't know, man. When
We're
you
here.
popped
People
on,
come for cars, my man.
everybody in the chat was a flutter.
That's because they're lying to themselves, but I appreciate it.
Oh, I think that's probably a good place to, switch over to getting out of here to respectable time and wrapping it up with some shout outs. Right? Isn't that what you hope there's hope, right?
There's hope, guys. There's hope.
I hope
if
there's
you
hope.
got the right people. I hope that is hope.
That's going to be the quote, the name of this show, Shane. I hope there's hope.
There's hope.
I hope there's hope.
I hope that there's hope. Okay.
Should always have hope.
These clips are driving me nuts. Okay.
Shout out Tape Never Lies. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout.
We did the short one. See how I do things here? We didn't even have to go through the 2-minute song. It's all good. That's how we roll, Cherie.
I see.
We're gonna get in. We're gonna talk.
Where'd Jackal
We're
go?
gonna get in. We're gonna get out. That's right.
Somebody.
Where'd Jackal go?
Jackal.
Oh,
Hey.
there you go.
Hey.
There we go.
There you go. But let's start on the bottom with Mr. Jackal, the librarian.
How you doing?
Got any shout outs tonight?
It's real quick, man. I don't know, shouting you guys out. I was able to jump on and join. I hope
fuck yourself.
No, I was perfect timing as always. I was late. I apologize. I was able to listen while I was on my way home. But we're coming from baseball. Conrad's little summer baseball deal he got knocked out this year in his little tournament tonight. So season's finally over, which is actually not bad. So I give him a little, him and his little friends a shout out. They had a good little season, beating some teams they shouldn't have or should have lost to, which is kind of nice. Sending some kids home early. It's always fun. But
fuck them kids, right?
Exactly,
Fuck
man.
them kids.
Fuck
Hey,
them kids.
Look, kick, punch, maim. I don't care what you do. Get yours. Fuck them kids.
Right.
That's right.
That's the new TTNL motto.
I love it. Put it on a t-shirt.
Sharpen
Put it on
those
a
elbows.
t-shirt.
I'll send my daughter down there. She'll fuck the whole place up.
Her and Cannon sound like the two would just be like twin tower. It'd be not good for anybody.
I'd like to introduce you to Kim Jong Maisie, and at
Yeah.
some point,
You're
you
not
will.
gonna talk bad about Maisie.
Oh, Maisie, I love that girl.
She's
but
so
she,
sweet. Come on.
She will cut a motherfucker. Like, please, she will, while smiling. While smiling.
She was nice.
Lick
to
the
me.
blade afterwards. Just
Because she likes you. Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I've seen a couple more questions in here just so we're all on the same page. I know people are asking where Phil is. Phil's handling some family business. He had some stuff come up that he's, doing what he needs to do. And he'll be back when he's back. And it's kind of where it is. So we step up as a team here and we still provide content and talk about the Bears and do our thing. So that's
sir.
Kind of why the last week he was away, taking a few days off, and this week he had some stuff come up. So yeah, he'll be back when he's back, and we'll get right back into it. But we're always still going to be here to provide the content. Miss Cherie, Miss Chick-fil-A. Taking her lunch break live on air.
Hey. Look, I'm sorry. I know
Girls
y'all
gotta
see
do what
me
girls
working
gotta
at
do.
home, but it's
Jackal
not
is just
work.
jealous that she gets a lunch break because he doesn't get to do anything because he doesn't do shit. So
Yeah, I don't do anything. I don't get dessert.
My lunch break was at 10 o'clock tonight. So let's be real. That was the first time I ate a meal today.
Fair.
Oh,
Anyway,
those are
shout out to
words,
all the
Jackal.
hard workers that's working from home. No, let me stop.
I wish I got to work from home, motherfucker. This ain't even real books, goddammit.
What? This whole time they're not real. Oh my god!
I could just caress the wall real quick.
Just shout out to you guys. Just love what this network represents and the support and how everybody stepped up. It was fun having the game back again. 2 weeks in a row. The chat was excited seeing everybody back.
Yeah.
So just shout out to all of y'all for being here and, hug your loved ones. And
yes.
I got it up.
That's all I.
Oh, Jesus.
Claudio, get a hold of yourself.
We can't take you anywhere.
Sorry.
So Jackal, was the books Fathead in place, or did you put that up?
I put it up when we decided, when I was building this thing. After I did Phil's studio at his old house, I was like, you know what? I want to put a little backdrop. And there's, AJ
You went
Hawk
with the
had
books,
one.
huh?
Yeah, and I went with the. I just Googled it one day. I saw AJ Hawk had one. I was like, oh fuck, $8 on Amazon. That's pretty good. So there you go. There's one book that says
I would have kept the $8, but
Green Bay sucks right here. That's what the note says. There's another one. So Conrad wrote on one of them somewhere. Sorry, it's boring. It's somewhere behind me.
Do you have Cherie's favorite book up there?
I love
Angelo's greatest hits.
Karma Sutra, I think.
Karma Sutra.
No, her favorite book.
You don't know me.
Her favorite book is called "I Love Balls." You know that.
I love balls.
Sorry,
Cherie.
You got that on audio.
you got the audio book. Gurgle, gurgle. Claudio.
Yes.
Back from Maine.
Back from Maine. Yeah, I'm going to Maine. I'm going to Chicago. I'm all over the place. It's going to be a fun summer.
Man, people.
Somebody's getting pregnant. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Get your shout out.
So first, you said audio. Let's shout out the Bears media for actually having good audio now, where you can hear the questions.
Compliments of TTNL Network.
I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe we had a
Except
part
for
of
the
it.
person's fingernails on the keyboard when you hear them typing after every. I'm like, God damn it, yo, turn it. You know.
Well, at least we can hear the questions, so that's
yes.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Sorry,
Shout out, obviously, you guys.
The real test is going to be in the post game to see if they continue it there. That's going to be the real test because that's where they suck.
Figured those were Braggs' nails on the computer.
And the countdown has started. Mark Potash said we are 167 days away now from the Bears cleaning out their locker room and heading into the offseason. So the countdown is on.
Always a ray of sunshine, that posse.
Oh my God. Yeah, shout out to you guys, obviously. You guys make it fun every Wednesday night. Shout out to Phil. Everything, positive vibes. Everything goes good over there. Shout out to the guys that came on. Jose, Michael, Joe, Bradley. We're gonna see you guys Tuesday. It's gonna be fun. Get some good pictures. Hopefully, don't get yelled at and get in trouble too much.
Hey, are you? Is it first class for Nicola again? That's what we got to ask.
Not first class for Nicola. It was $400 round trip. Just I'm in the back. I got
oh wow!
It's luggage for Nicola.
I got an aisle
tire.
That's all I need.
Handy to get out of.
Definitely not first class for Nicola. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely. Me and Ivan, Alex, the swag guy, Alex Exovedo is gonna be there. We're gonna have fun.
Nice.
So definitely.
Perfect. Ivan Vargas.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Great show. Shout out to Phil. We love him and everything over here. And shout out to the all the Sox fans that have left the stadium right now.
Really?
And the bottom of the eighth
right now?
with the Cubs leading 10-7. Shout out to those guys too. Get home safe. Beep beep. Yeah, and everybody else in the chat. Love you. See everybody on Tuesday. They're okay.
50. I mean, sub 500, and we're gonna take a.
Aren't you trading Cody Bellinger
I'm
to the
taking
Yankees?
laps. Oh, I'm taking laps anytime we beat this team. There's really only one baseball team in Chicago, and
it's
everybody knows
it's
the
not.
Cubs.
It's not true.
Everybody knows it's the Cubs. Anyway,
no,
that's my shout outs.
Well, Cars, those are fighting words. Take it away as a Sox fan. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Well, so starting off, first things first, let me handle my business.
I love balls.
Secondly,
Cherie always trying to change the subject.
Gurgle.
No, listen. It's been a tough year for the Carstensen plan. There's a lot been going on here. So, I said when Mom passed, I'm nothing without that woman. But without the three ladies that live here in this house that keep me going, that keep me honest, that keep me kind of more grounded and allow me to be my ridiculous self. Without family, I'm nothing. And it's always the way that I feel like. And my girls understand that they're always a priority for me. And everything about them. So that's my shout out for today.
100%, man. No, we totally, I talked about it a little bit last week, and it's easy to take for granted. Like I said, sports does that to me, and it does it to all of us. It affects when the Bears lose. I'm mad.
Yeah.
And I take it to bed with me, and I wake up the next day and I'm still pissed. Somebody will come on and talk about the, negative Bears and can't even listen to it. Yeah, so it affects my life. But in the grand scheme of things, what you have at home is definitely the most important, and it's going to be the most important thing moving forward. And that includes, everybody on this panel. And I think we all know that. But I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm going to give a shout out to my first ever niece, my oldest niece, Hannah Tanner. She's making the big old leap Saturday, and she's getting married, which is blowing my mind. Yeah, blowing my mind that my little Hannah is getting married on Saturday. But it's been a little bit of a whirlwind this week getting ready. So we got the suits all ready, and Hila ironed my shirt for me, so it's all ready to go. But we have,
because you have one dress shirt. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. You gotta say I'll take you on a little tour. Take you on a little tour. But no, we got the rehearsal dinner and all that good stuff on Friday night, and then the real festivities kick off Saturday around 4 p.m. So it's weird, Cars. Just to kind of your point, I remember holding her for the first time, and now you're like trying to put everything all together, and you're like, wow, this little girl that I used to hold and change her diaper, and now she's going to be walking down the aisle and starting her, her life of happiness with her new husband. So it's kind of hard to grasp. And I look at my daughter, and I told her she can't get married until she's at least 45 or 50. Those are going to be my rules. But she's pushing. I might have to move it up a couple of decades with the way that she acts. So
17 years, Shane.
Yeah, we'll see. But boy, she's
the girls in my town.
Oof, man, oh man, yeah,
Three sons.
Twiddly-diddly-dee.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bravo.
Boom.
Bravo.
Ivan forgets he's got a daughter too.
Oh,
So
I know. It's coming. That's
tree boy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's as a father that has, both sides of the fence here, a 12-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. They are two very different beasts, I will say. My son is very quiet and reserved and calculated, and my daughter is, I think, a little bit like me. She's got a little bit of dad's piss and vinegar, where I think she's just as happy telling
calling people cunts and shit.
Yeah. Believe me.
You can literally tell her I fucked your mom. You can say
right. Yeah, exactly.
She actually told her daycare person the other day, I fucked your mother. So
yes.
Really.
I fucked your mom.
Ariel's a cunt.
My dad said your mom's a cunt. Yeah. But yeah, she's I love her, but boy, is she a handful. So yeah, but yeah, big shout out to Hannah and Ryan getting married on Saturday. So we're gonna spend their special day with them. It's gonna be kind of surreal. I'm sure there'll be some tears shed, and I don't enjoy the position that my sister is in, seeing her oldest be married, and then in a couple more weeks her youngest leaves for college for the first time, so she'll be going away. So that's a big transition for anybody. And I said to my sister Terry, I'm like, man, you and her husband Corey, he's the Eagles fan that I always talk about. I'm like, you guys are just gonna get divorced now. I mean, what the fuck else is there,
Wow.
Kids are out.
You're just fucking rotten.
Right.
I always love the way that Shane really embraces building people up, like just building their confidence, making them feel the whole love.
Carr's wife sent me a beautiful message last night, and I responded to it in the most Shane way ever. Did I not, Cars?
Why Shane? What was yesterday?
Oh, it wasn't even for my birthday, but yeah, it was for something else. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Shane.
The only person on this panel that forgot about my birthday yesterday was Mr. Jackal, and he called me crying today. Actually, no, I had to
lost
tell him.
I always saw he's telling me a story, and I'm like, oh yeah, yesterday was your birthday.
He's like, I even had it on my fucking
calendar, like literally on this dumbass fucking phone.
Yeah.
Lost in my own world like an asshole, selfish prick.
Yep, born on Sweetness's birthday. So, like I said, I was destined to take this ride with you motherfuckers as a Bears fan. But yeah,
I was born into it, so this wasn't a choice for me.
Hey, my kids are the same. They had the Bears yearbook from last year on NFL Network, and the whole entire time Emerson was walking by, and she's transitioned from Coco Melon that she wants nothing to do with now, which I'm all about, but she's fully on board with Toy Story number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Get on Bluey.
Yeah, no, fuck that, Cherie. I can deal with Toy Story, or she loves Wreck-It Ralph. So
love that movie.
Yeah, we're on to that. I can deal with those a lot better than I did Coco Melon, and it's a lot cheaper to watch those than it is to go to a fucking Coco Melon show. That's for
you ain't
goddamn
speaking Coco Melon over here.
Oh my god. Yeah. Hopefully not again. But yeah, we talked right through the 12-minute shout out music, so it's probably a perfect way to wrap it up. Like I said, shout out to Hannah and Ryan. Hope you guys enjoy life together and nothing but love and happiness. And with that being said, I guess we'll take them out with the best marriage song
Bear down.
ever. Wrap it up.
I got it.